Tonight, nearly 8,000 voters registered across 14 polling divisions cast their ballots to elect their next representative. It's decision day in Golden Isles constituency by-election, and RTV's continuing live coverage of today's results starts right now. Tonight, Golden Isles is at the center of a political showdown. From sunrise, the scene outside the polls looked more like a mini rally than a by-election. Prime Minister Philip Davis arrived to cheer, saying the PLP is strong. He expects this seat to stay yellow by night's end. His party's candidate, Darren Pickstock, just as confident, saying the support he felt door to door has him believing victory is right there. But this race is far from one-sided. With nearly 8,000 registered voters, the largest voter roll in the country, residents turned out early, most saying the process was quick and smooth. But the sole independent candidate, Karen Kim Butler, raising red flags, making claims of bullying, confusion, and even blocking at 2 polling sites. On the other side of the street, the FNM was fanning a very different fire, framing today as a referendum on the cost of living, taxes, and national frustration. Their supporters chanting, "Fire them, vote them out," and rallying hard behind Brian Brown. And then there's the Coalition of Independents, calling this a break-the-cycle moment, pushing for a new generation of voters who are done with party loyalties. Tonight, Golden Isles decides more than a seat. It decides the mood and possibly the sentiment of a nation. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RTV's live coverage of Decision Day in Golden Isles. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jerome Sawyer. Thousands of voters marking their X as Golden Isles residents decided who will become their next Member of Parliament. Our special coverage tonight is driven by one of the most experienced teams in the business, positioned across the Golden Isles constituency. Our Megan Shepherd is with the Progressive Liberal Party. Jasmine Brown is tracking the Free National Movement. And Sasha Lightbourne is with the Coalition of Independents, all stationed at Anatole Rogers High School, the largest polling site. And rounding out the 4 in our coverage, Danielle Miller is live at the Adelaide Primary School. We'll hear from all of them throughout the night with real-time updates on turnout. But before we check in, voter turnout may again be the story tonight. Back in 2021, low participation at the polls helped the late Vaughan Miller secure a decisive win for the PLP in Golden Isles. But with no incumbent on the ballot this time, and questions about whether supporters from any party are fired up enough to show up, this by-election could be far a more competitive race than expected. Our news anchor, Kendino Knowles, takes a closer look at how turnout or lack of it could shift the final outcome.
The last certified results from Golden Isles, the official Form R, paints a clear picture of what happened in 2021. The late Vaughan Miller won big, pulling in 2,471 votes and finishing more than 600 votes ahead of his closest challenger, Brian Brown. But that document also revealed something else. Turnout was just about 63%, low by Bahamian election standards, especially in a year when national sentiment was high. Fast forward to today, and that turnout concern has only grown. Golden Isles now has 7,926 registered voters, the largest constituency register in the entire Bahamas, a number far higher than the last election cycle, which saw a register of 7,391. And now, with voters taking to the polls in a by-election to choose their next representative, some observers say that low turnout could become the deciding factor. This time around, 4 new candidates squaring off. The Progressive Liberal Party has political newcomer Darren Pickstock, The Free National Movement bringing back Brian Brown, the same candidate who finished second in 2021 and still has a strong base. The Coalition of Independents is running Brian Roll, and Karen Kim Butler is on the ballot as an independent. But without Vaughn Miller, some political analysts say the PLP can't assume the same 2021 numbers will automatically transfer to a new candidate. Observers also point out that the 2021 landslide was fueled by national issues, pandemic fatigue, economic pain, and the handling of post-Dorian recovery. But they say Monday's race may not be driven by that same level of emotion. And that's why, despite Golden Isles looking like a safe PLP seat in 2021, the race is now considered wide open. Advanced polling may offer a preview. Of the 283 eligible advanced voters, 249 showed up, roughly 88%. A strong early turnout, but observers across the political spectrum caution that advanced poll voters tend to be the most motivated, not the average voter. Monday will reveal which campaign or which candidate can actually motivate their supporters. Reporting for R News, I'm Kendino Knowles.
Today, PLP candidate Darren Pickstock has been surrounded by a full slate of PLP support. Members of Parliament, cabinet ministers and a sizable crowd of party faithfuls. We go now to our teams in the field, and we begin with our Megan Shepherd, who is embedded and was embedded with the PLP throughout the day. And Megan, you have been out there since the polls opened this morning, and we'll get to what you saw earlier. But first, what's the situation on the ground right now?
Jerome, if you thought we saw energy last week, they have amplified that tonight. I mean, the fans are snapping, the chairs are going, the chants, the horns, the car horns, the air horns. It is all out here. It feels like the end of a marathon when someone is just sprinting to the finish line and you're cheering on your family and friends. I can tell you, I watched 3 young ladies sprint behind us at 5:59 in 45 seconds, 5:59 in 30 seconds, and 5:59 58 seconds. Yes, I looked at my clock. And they made a mad dash to the polls. So the energy is definitely, it is out here. People are excited to come out and take part in this democratic exercise. Behind me, the party is still happening, but we are here to talk about the PLP energy. That is actually them right behind us, having a good old time. Also having a good time earlier this morning, the candidate himself, Mr. Darren Pickstock. He says he is confident, and of course, with supporters like this, how could you not be confident? But let's hear it from him. Take a listen.
Excited supporters filled the sidewalks as Prime Minister Philip Davis arrived at the polls Monday morning. Davis saying he's expecting victory once PLPs come out to vote.
I've not heard anything, but they tell me we are strong. Our voters are coming out. I know the day's still yet early, and we expect to win.
This is the second by-election under the Davis-led government, almost a year to date, back in 2023, following the sudden passing of former West Grand Baham and Bimini MP, Obi Wilchcombe. On Monday, PLP candidate Darren Pickstock also arriving to a sea of enthusiastic supporters, and just as confident this seat will remain in the PLP's column.
The response has been support completely, and I thank the residents of Golden Isles for their support, and we've been received very positively when we went door to door, and so we're expecting victory out here today.
Following last week's advanced polls and the chaos that followed, we asked Davis and Pickstock if there are any concerns about a repeat today.
I would hope not. I think the police would have learned their lesson as to how to minimize such events.
Thing today, the Royal Bahamas Police Force did their jobs, and they are going to do the same thing today. And so it's unfortunate that the other side carried on in a manner that was unbecoming, but we're expecting everything to go smoothly today.
Among the many MPs and ministers supporting Pickstock was Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, who said he's confident given the level of campaigning, as well as Labour and the Public Service Minister Pia Glover-Roll, who says she believes Pickstock will serve the people well.
Darren Pickstock has had an opportunity to see most of the constituents. We had a very strong team on the ground. We have a good machinery. I'm confident that we reached as many of the residents as we could.
Today, we've worked hard. We've spoken to the people. They have opened their doors to us. They're choosing stability. They're choosing progress. And we're here today to make sure that we bring this victory across the finish line, ensuring that our voters turn out.
Central and South Eleuthera MP Clay Sweeting says Pickstock has already started pushing for work in the area.
He's been an advocate for infrastructural work, for drainage work, for other aspects that Golden Isles needed, and you've seen it on the ground and you felt it on the ground. So I'm sure that that representation will continue after you're selected as a Member of Parliament for Golden Isles.
All right, so Jerome, I don't know if you can hear the background, but the energy is picking up. The polls may be closed, but the supporters, they're out here in full force. And the excitement, this is my first by-election in the capital. I must say the energy is definitely different, Jerome.
Comment on anything about Grand Bahama tonight, I promise. But Megan, we know that only 283 casting ballots in last week's advance poll, and there were some concerns after that slow and scrutinized process. But Megan, you also spoke with early voters this morning who had a very different experience this time around. What were they telling you about the process and how it went today?
Definitely positive reviews, Jerome. Residents said it was smooth, it was quick, the gates opened on time, there was a flood of residents ready and eager to come in and vote. And let's take a look.
Everything was in place. I had no problem, none. I just did what they say do, and I did it, and I was the first one.
It was pretty fast. It went pretty fast, very smoothly, actually faster than I expected. The wait time is very short. I was in and I was out. I feel that voting is very important because when you vote, you have a voice. This is my daughter's first time voting. Kamnish, her first time voting, and she's very excited about voting for the very first time.
And for the more seasoned voters, they say they understand the importance of letting their voices and concerns be heard through the ballot box.
Well, it's very important to me and the country. So I did what I had to do.
And why did you vote for the candidate you voted for?
Because I believe in the candidate. That's all I can say for right now. Well, the changes I hope to see in Golden Isles has already been started. And that's what I like. Right. You know, I was a speeder. They even put speed bump down to slow me down. For speeding for me, hating myself. And I love that.
I think it's my duty to help make decisions with the country, see where it goes. I think the candidate I voted for, I trust. I trust in his message and what he said he's going to do.
Now, for some voters like Eloise Cantor and Parish Wallace, they say marking their X was a no-brainer.
And if we ain't Brian Brown, ain't nobody else. I voted for Mr. Brown because he is the man and he will get the job done. Mr. Brown never abandoned Golden Isles. His office stay open 24/7. And I could depend on Mr. Brown. I can't depend on nobody else because I don't know nobody else. What Brian Brown did for Eloise Cantor in the wheelchair, I can't say no other MP do it for me. So that's why I'm going all the way with Mr. Brian Brown.
I came here with a purpose. You could see the attire I have on. I've seen the progress, and my only thing is that you got to give everybody a chance. You know what I mean? You can't beat somebody with somebody else's stick. And for what I've seen so far, it is very promising that things will go smooth going further. You know, and I had a chance to speak with Mr. Pickstock on numerous occasions, and I told him, you know, just like how you get my vote, you gotta keep your promises. You know, you gotta answer your phone. You gotta, you know, be there for the people.
All right, and there you have it, Jerome. I was able to visit the polling station here at Anatole Rogers as well as in Adelaide Primary School. Now, while the process was not perfect, residents are excited that it did go well overall. And as we heard, we had some first-time voters, we had some veteran voters. So the energy, again, as we can hear and feel in the background, persons were excited to come out here. And of course, now tonight, they are excited for the results. Back to you in studio, Jerome.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. And as a Nasuvian, I'd like to welcome you to your first New Providence by-election. All right. But over in the FNM camp, backed by crowds chanting fire them, vote them out, the party says its support for Golden Isles candidate Brian Brown reflects growing national frustration and possibly the start of a political shift. Well, our Jasmine Brown has been embedded with the opposition all day. Jasmine, how do things look from your vantage point right now?
Well, Jerome, as you can hear me, that chanting continued just after polls closed today. Now, I did hear some music coming from the Progressive Liberal Party side, and the supporters here at the Free National Movement were not to be outdone as they brought back some familiar chants that may remind some of us of our BAISS days, and they are continuing to chant behind me. You can hear the horns. The excitement is growing now that the polls are closed. And earlier today, Delvardo Brown got to speak with the candidate as well as some of his supporters.
Dawn greeted FNM poll workers and supporters gathered outside Anatole Rogers High School, the largest polling station for today's vote. Among the many political well-knowns was Central Grand Bahama MP Kwesi Thompson, who says Brown has been behaving like an MP long before today.
He's been on the ground, he's been contributing as if he was the member of parliament, and so the folks in Golden Isles, I believe, would do well if they elect him. And so we, as a group, as an FNM, I think all of us are very interested in this by-election because of the closeness to the general election.
Political newcomer Dr. Nicholas Fox, the FNM's candidate for Fox Hill, commended Brown's commitment to Golden Isles residents.
I've been supporting Mr. Brown from Jump Street. I think he is the candidate for Golden Isles. He's been consistent, he has a heart, and he has shown concern for the people.
Fort Charlotte candidate Travis Robinson, shying away from talking about his own race in the general election, framed today's vote as a response to current national challenges.
This is a message to the entire country. This is the message of how people have been feeling about this PLP government. Their policies, the way they have increased taxes on the people, the heavy cost of living, the burdens that people have been enduring since they took office.
South Beach candidate Darren Henfield shared similar views.
We believe that this election in Golden Isles is a very important election, not only just here in New Providence, for the entire country. We believe that Golden Isles will be the inspiration for real change in the Bahamas that Bahamians will be proud of.
At the second polling station at the Adelaide Primary School, the party's deputy leader, Shannon Cartwright, said the energy here was just as high.
We are very pleased with what we're seeing and a lot of the responses from persons leaving the polling stations. So we're excited about the opportunity to win this seat here and to make Brian Brown the Member of Parliament-elect for Golden Isles.
Opposition leader Michael Pentard, who campaigned along Brown this morning, says despite some early hiccups, he's confident the tide will turn in their favor.
I have not seen anyone who remember the names of all of the constituents, and certainly if he doesn't know a child, he know Grammy and the parents. The truth is, he know them so well, he know the pet's name. So it's an incredible thing, and I believe that Bahamians will reward commitment, people who stick and stay with them. Brian Brown is that man.
Meantime, a confident Brian Brown says despite last week's drama at the polls, he feels good about today's election.
Ballot box is not going to move today. We can count those ballots before they move. So we've got our team in place to make sure whatever needs to be done, our legal team is ready to go. And so once the day the ballot box is open, we'll count the votes. And so we got assurance that what's going to happen in those ballot boxes.
All right, and as you just heard there, Mr. Brown has a lot of support from both former members of parliament as well as those seeking re-election. And as I said last week, and I will repeat this week, a big part of his campaign is the fact that he has lived in this community for more than almost 25 years. So he's hit the ground running. His slogan is boots on the ground, and he has lived up to that by actually visiting the community with members of his party. Back to you, Jerome.
Thank you very much, sir. Jasmine Brown, along with Megan Shepherd. covered with the two main parties there for us tonight, ladies. Thank you very much. Well, we still got a ways to go. Our Sasha Lightbourne and Danielle Miller are also standing by tonight. Danielle has a full report from the Coalition of Independents coming up. But first, our Sasha Lightbourne is with the COI at Anatol Rogers. Sasha, what's the sentiment that you're hearing from that party right now?
Yes, Jerome, good night. The Coalition of Independents motto is change is coming. Change is not coming, change is here. And they are excited about what's going to unravel here tonight. I can see them right from my vantage point, and they're excited. I've spoken to their leader, Lincoln Bain, as well as the candidate, Brian Roll, who told me earlier today that he is just ready to get his boots on the ground. And so right now we are here live at the Anatol Rogers High School, where polls would have closed just a few moments ago. We see hundreds of police, which was different from the advance poll last week, Monday. Police cars are here. I believe the convoy is also here, ready to take those ballot boxes. Now, I also had the opportunity to speak to the returning officer, Neil Campbell, earlier today, and he told me the voting will be a slow, not the voting, sorry, the counting will be a slow count. And so we hope that those results come out to us very soon. We all know that the four candidates are ready to hear what those results are, as well as their supporters who are all out here. Anatol seems to be the place to be. As you would have said already, Jerome, there are 10 polling stations here at the Anatol Rogers School, whereas there are only 4 down at Adelaide Primary, where Danielle Miller is currently standing by. Back to you, Jerome.
Very much, Sasha. As you are all eager, so are we eager here to hear those results as well. And we're, of course, on standby waiting to get the first set of results coming in. Well, tonight, the third force in this race, the Coalition of Independents, is making its presence felt. You heard there from Sasha Lightbourne. Their candidate is hoping to build on the party's first seat in the House and potentially double their representation. Our Danielle Miller caught up with the COI's leader, their candidate, and a young voter earlier today. Denny, we understand they're all describing this by-election as a break from the old political traditions.
That's right, Jerome. The COI is confident that this generation of voters are not following along the lines of party alliances, but they are standing on their own 2 feet, and they have freedom of thought going into this by-election. We spoke to the leader, Lincoln Bain, who reiterated that thought.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the voters are wearing their own clothes, not wearing party paraphernalia, and that may show that they don't have loyalty to any parties.
Coalition of Independents leader Lincoln Bain at the Anatol Rogers High School this morning, calling this by-election the dawn of a new generation of voters that are not subject to oligarch behaviors. Golden Isles resident Radisha Cash was a second-time voter in today's election. Without saying how she voted, Cash agreed there is a renaissance of new age voters.
From what I understand, persons just don't know who to trust when it comes to helping the community.
For decades, the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement have dominated the political scene. But in April 2025, the now former Free National Movement Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Iram Lewis, gave the COI their very first seat in Parliament. If Brian Roll is elected, he would give the COI their second seat.
The plan would be to start tabling legislations that can benefit the Bahamian people.
But if they are not successful, he told me, the party will enter the 2026 general election with Brian Roll as their candidate for the area. Roll told me that no matter the outcome, he pledges to do the work.
You know, we can't lay down and play dead. You know, we have a country to fix, so I can't give up.
And if he does win, his first order of business?
Well, the first thing I plan to do is to speak to my constituents and to let them know that the same words that I've been preaching, the very most important one, inclusion, I would want them to get on board with me, and let's fix Golden Isles.
A very confident candidate in Brian Roll for the COI, and we will find out shortly the results of today's by-election as we stand in front of Adelaide waiting for the ballot boxes to depart the school.
Back to you in studio, Jerome.
Thank you very much, Denny. And thank you to our team in the field tonight. Danielle Miller, Sasha Lightbourne, Jasmine Brown, and Megan Shepherd will be checking back in with all of you in just a bit as our special coverage tonight continues. In the meantime, though, we're going to take our first check on the numbers. Our Italia Hall is live in studio for us at the decision board. Italia, before we get to those numbers, I know that you were also out from early in that constituency today to speak with the sole independent candidate about her race.
Yes, Jerome. Tonight I'll be walking you through the numbers as they come in from all 14 polling divisions right here on our decision board. And tonight we will continue to wait on those results. I spoke with Karen Kim Butler in today's race, who claimed she faced several issues even before the polls open. Let's take a look at that story. A peaceful Monday morning at the Adelaide Primary School, voters lining up early for their turn at the polls. The four-way race with two main parties, the PLP and the FNM, a COI and independent candidate Karen Kim Butler. But even before the 8 a.m. opening, that calm briefly shifted. Independent candidate Karen Kim Butler, dressed in her signature pink, describes how she ended up in the middle of a chaotic moment when the gates opened early for the poll agents.
I was caught in the middle of it all. I mean, to me, I was frustrated. And I felt like I was also being assaulted because as the candidate, and like I said, in my nice fancy pink, that no one can really miss me, I was still being pushed between the police and the supporters trying to get into the yard. There must be a better way that we can do this. But other than the pushing, and I thought I was going to maybe hit the ground at some point where the pushing became so violent.
And that wasn't her only concern at the Adelaide Primary School.
I was not allowed to park inside the gate with the rest of the other people who are inside the gate. I parked and I was told I could not park where I was parked. Then I was told to park all the way down the road, a couple minutes away. I did a Facebook Live on it where I had to walk just where like everybody else is walking. Me as the candidate, even still a woman by herself walking along, I was wondering where the security was.
From there, Butler moved on to Anatole Rogers High School, where several polling divisions were operating. It's also where she cast her own vote and claimed she again ran into problems, including the removal of her campaign placards and being blocked from entering polling division number 8 to observe.
But I voted to represent the people of the Golden Isles constituency. But let me tell these big parties something. You can look at the turnout today and you can make an assessment of what you need to do. And I'll drop the mic on that.
Still, Butler says she's not discouraged and believes the issues she faced today need to be fixed well before the 2026 general election.
Whatever the people of Golden Isles decide today, I will take my directions from them. They will make a decision as to where they want the constituency to go. And that is the reason why me, as a part of that constituency, I not only put myself in the race because I have a vision for the direction I wanted to go in, but for them to also buy into that vision. I'm a resident, no place to go.
All right, interesting day for Karen Kim Butler. And Jerome, as for those numbers, 7,960 registered voters in the Golden Isles constituency across 14 polling divisions, 10 at Anatole Rogers and the remaining 4 at Adelaide Primary School. Now, the last certified result from 2021, the official Form R, shows just how decisive that race was. The late Vaughn Miller won big, 2,471 votes, more than 600 votes ahead of Brian Brown. But that same document also shows turnout was only 63%. Tonight, Jerome, this race is wide open, and the numbers, well, tell the story.
All right. Thank you very much, Italia Hall at the board tonight. You have probably got the best seat in the House as those numbers come in tonight. We'll be checking in with you, of course. Well, things are about to heat up now that the polls have been closed for quite some time now. We're probably about half an hour since the polls have closed. When we come back, we'll hear from the returning officer and police on the ground about how today's vote unfolded. Plus, we're welcoming our guest commentators. Yes, I am not here by myself tonight. They are from both of the major political parties, two familiar faces who will be bringing national perspective, political insight, and some real-time analysis to our coverage. Stay with us. It's Decision Day in Golden Isles. We'll be back in just a moment.
The best Christmas memories aren't the ones posted, they're the ones that stay. So whether you're here for the
I'm very excited, and I can't believe it. It's it's a dream come true. When she did call me yesterday about it, I didn't know what to believe. Thanks to Mr. Coleman and this whole staff for what they do, and making sure the customers are taken care of, making sure we enjoy the gaming they do give to us. Kansas is the great house to play, even down to the staff is perfect. You're going to marvel.
In the Bahamas, island time is real. The history of Morris Lumber Company, established in 1945, is etched into the fabric of this proud island nation. It's a story that deserves to be celebrated in full color, and that's where we come in. Morris, the paint place, has been bringing color and vitality to homes and businesses across the Bahamas. Here, color is more than just a hue, it's a symbol of life. Together, we can paint a brighter future.
Are you or a loved one under medical care?
As you can see, we're actively building out phase 2. There's numerous construction projects going on now. At our upcoming open house, you get a chance to walk through our walking trails, to see our green spaces, our water features, our clubhouse, and all that we have to offer there. And to taste some boiled and stewed fish at Tennyson's Bar and Grill. And our slogan is, we sell lifestyle.
Online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Somewhere's was a party going on, yeah. Somewhere's was a one-stop shopping sale. The family, community, for me. Southwest Plaza, come shop with us. Shop, shop, we've got so many stores. Shop, shop, our prices are right. Come spend the day, bring the family. Southwest Plaza, come shop with us.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now.
Go to doctors.
3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, in Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Don't think these mud tubes look threatening? Think again. There are signs that a large-scale termite invasion is already underway, advancing through a property, costing thousands of dollars in damages. If you're building, you need Termafilm, a revolutionary pre-construction termite treatment from Rentokil Initial. Termafilm is a polyethylene film treated with termiticide that's applied prior to the foundation of a building. It's easy to install and forms a long-term termite barrier.
You're watching continuing live coverage of Decision Day in the Golden Isles constituency, and thank you for staying with us. Our team, Megan Shepherd, Jasmine Brown, Sasha Lightbourne and Danielle Miller, stationed across the area tonight, capturing every moment as it happens. I want to check back in with Megan. Megan, the polls are closed, the count is underway, and just like last week, we saw the advance poll run into some serious problems with the returning officer at the center of the ballot box controversy. I understand that he spoke with you today about what went wrong and how he's expecting to fix it.
Absolutely, Jerome. We heard from the candidates, we heard from the voters, but another key person, the returning officer, and as you mentioned, there was some controversy last week, Monday, and we've heard from all of the sides involved, bits and pieces throughout the weeks. We checked in with the returning officer this morning to figure out where is everyone at today and what mechanisms were put in place to ensure a smooth process today.
Anatole Rogers High School was the polling station for nearly 2/3 of this morning's voters, with the remainder casting their votes at Adelaide Primary School. Returning Officer Neil Campbell says to accommodate the nearly 8,000 voters, they decided to increase manpower.
We even put in extra, where persons will be throughout the day with our parliamentary registration department, and we also would have trained all of these individuals who are working the polls, from the presiding officer to the floor clerk, where they could work at any particular position. We are most certain that they will do an excellent job today.
But just last week, after the advanced polls were closed, members of both the Free National Movement and Coalition of Independents tried to block the transfer of the ballot boxes, saying party observers were not being allowed to accompany them as previously agreed to. We asked Campbell if he was able to meet with those leaders to address their complaints.
I heard some things afterwards with some decisions they would have made and what they want to advance, but there were no complaints. Everything up until the poll closed was solved before. That's why every single person signed off. I think everybody was satisfied. What happened afterwards, I still don't understand.
And as to those calling for his removal as returning officer,
I don't want to get into that other than saying that I've done many elections, and as I would have heard, during elections sometimes the government remains, sometimes the government changed. I've done this many times, over 25, 30 years. I think I'm an honorable person. I think the system protects itself. I think sometimes emotions get in the way, and I'll leave it as that. Sometimes we just ask the media to keep everything into context, because there was a lot said, and evidently there's only one thing said by that particular individual who carried their story, but there were other things said in the room that was not published in the newspaper.
All right, and as we heard from Sasha earlier, Mr. Campbell said it is going to be a slow count tonight, and we know that was one of the issues raised earlier in the week about the pacing of the counts. And as you mentioned, Jerome, the count is still underway, but I am happy to report that outside the gates, cooler heads are prevailing, and so far, so good. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. I know you are keeping a keen eye on things there. We'll get to our Jasmine Brown with the FNM in just a bit. But joining us on this broadcast tonight are two well-known faces from the major political parties: Progressive Liberal Party digital lead Asante Benavi-Small and president of the FNM Torchbearers Association, Xavier Knowles. Folks, welcome to our live coverage tonight of Decision Night in Golden Isles. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
You're no stranger to this set, usually for On the Record, so we're happy to have you in this space. First of all, I got some questions here, but I got to ask because I'm eager like everybody else. Have you been getting any results yet? I know that you're the party insiders. Are you hearing anything yet from any of the polling stations? Asante, I'm going to start with you. Are you hearing anything?
Well, the question of the day is, how's it looking? Right?
Somebody asked me that in Starbucks. I was like, I ain't here with you.
Yeah, but how's it looking? I believe that it's looking like progress, and it's looking like big stock. And so we are hopeful. We've seen our people come out, and we're hopeful that they've done the right thing today.
All right, Xavier, what's the word on the ground tonight?
Well, what I saw mostly today were people were saying this time around is Brian Brown. They were voting in their regular clothing and then coming to pick up their F&M shirts afterwards. So hopefully we see that translate in the numbers tonight.
I think we heard that already, that people were coming out in their plain clothes. We'll come back to that analysis. Let me get to the questions. Based on the numbers and the energy that you've seen today, what kind of rate are you expecting as these results come in?
Oh boy. So I think first is understanding that it's a by-election, and a by-election that's just few months or what have you away from the general election. So I think voter turnout might not be what we're looking for, but I don't believe it's going to be as tight as anticipated. I believe that whatever it is going to be very clear. I think we're going to have a very smooth night tonight, and it's my hope that they would have aligned with progress. I think the momentum I felt is, one, that you see a government that is able to stand on its record, and where there are opportunities to listen, learn, and do better and do more work, we're willing to do that as well.
Xavier, same question to you.
Well, I think this is going to be a real referendum on the current government. And it also depends on the voter turnout as well. Because if you have a very low voter turnout, that means obviously Bahamians are not comfortable to come out and vote in any large number for any particular person, especially the governing party, who's expected to more or less to get a certain amount of votes, because they are the governing party. But voters today, it's been very interesting to see those those persons go into the various different polls. But the FNM was out. They were out today. But I will also say the PLP was out as well, so it may be close.
Moving on now, let's talk about turnout. 7,960 registered voters, the largest constituency in country, the largest voter roll. Based on what you're seeing tonight, does the turnout work for or against your party? Xavier, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I would say that based on what we're seeing tonight, I mean, it would work for our party. If PLPs and Golden Isle residents decide that they did not want to vote for Darren Pickstock, and however, those who know Brian came out in numbers again to vote for him, like as many did at the last election in 2021, then we will be in a very good place tonight.
Tia Sante, what about you?
I think it's a little different. I think it's understanding the constituency itself. I think Golden Isles is a very peculiar seat in that you have a wide group of individuals. When you talk about 8,000, you're talking about a diverse demographic. You're also talking about individuals who understand that we're a couple months away from an election. So for a lot of people, even today, as my hairstylist was doing my hair, she said she's a Golden Isles constituent. And I said, girl, you have to go vote. And so after she was done, so you have to nudge a little bit, because for her it was like, oh, next year. And so I think we cannot use this as a blanketed test of ourselves. I think what it shows is that there is momentum, we're building upon it. I think 2026 is the bigger picture and the bigger opportunity for us. I think also Golden Isles understand that the previous member of parliament, the late Vaughn Miller, was a representative of both parties. And everyone that's gone door to door would have been honest with themselves and would have heard the honest feedback. And so you understand the constituents are a little bit tired and they're a little bit frustrated. And so I think that for some of them, they're willing to put their ex next to someone to say, let's give that person a try to see if it's better. And I think it's a larger group that's saying, let's see what this person's going to do, and then next year be able to seal the deal.
I do want to remind our audience that we are still awaiting the first vote count of the night. Final 2021 turnout was just 63%. We heard about it tonight in a report earlier, and some of the reasons why those numbers were so low. If tonight lands anywhere in that range, who does a low turnout benefit most? And I want you to consider that we've got 4 folks in this race, the COI candidate in there as well. Who do you think benefits tonight if there is a low voter turnout?
I pass it to Tia Sante.
The silence.
At this time, I would say that a low voter turnout doesn't really benefit anyone. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course you can.
All right. I say that because for me, I think there is purpose and there's a reason and there's a priority in us voting. And I think that the clarion call has to take place to tell our country and our citizens at large, this is your voice by marking your X. Be a part of this process. And so I don't think any of us truly benefit from it. I think we have to wait to see the data. I think none of us are able to say that, because even in 2021, I don't think that lower voter turnout was so much a benefit to the PLP. I think what it is that the PLP was able to mobilize their people to get out and vote. Okay. I think today, you see a group of individuals, PLP and FNM, coming out to vote, but I don't think that it speaks largely to that constituency because of how vast that demographic is.
Are you still having no comment, or do you want to?
No. I think low voter turnout also doesn't benefit, especially young people. There are a lot of young people in Golden Isles, many of which will be their first time voting in a by-election. not even having to go to a general election. A lot of them may have not registered simply because no one expected a by-election.
Of course.
But the reality is they'll be the ones that don't benefit the most simply because they didn't have an opportunity to cast a vote in this particular election or even get to know the candidates the way they may have wanted to know them.
Mm-hmm. And a general election provides that opportunity. Thank you very much. With that, I want to go back to the field because following the chaos at the close of last week's advanced poll, police taking no chances today, and it was clear they ramped up their presence at both polling sites. We check in now with our Jasmine Brown, who is with the FNM tonight. And Jasmine, I understand that officers were out from very early this morning.
That's right, Jerome. When we arrived just before 6:30 this morning, we met a team of officers already assembled, and that was in front of the school as well as behind the gates. And they had a police bus that went bringing more of them to the site, as they all said that they were ready and prepared to get it done, as they didn't want a repeat of what happened yesterday. Now, I spoke to Assistant Commissioner of Police Marino Hines, and he told me all about their plans and what they didn't want to see happen today. This was the chaotic scene outside the advanced poll last Monday, with supporters blocking the ballot box convoy attempting to leave Remnant Tabernacle on Carmichael Road. But today was a far cry from the angry crowds from the Free National Movement and Coalition of Independents opposed to how the boxes were being moved. Instead, the scene at Anatole Rogers High School with its 10 polling divisions was orderly today, thanks to a heavier police presence and dozens of crowd-controlling barricades. Assistant Commissioner of Police Marino Hines confirmed they were in place before daybreak.
From very early on this morning, the police have been up and about, beginning with the boxes being taken from the parliamentary registry. As you can expect, all of the respective parties, they're very excited to participate in this democracy. And so we met a very large gathering of persons who were very orderly, I might say, at the polling place. And right at 8 o'clock, the stations were open and we allowed the people to traverse the gates so that they can vote.
ACP Hines declined to say how many uniformed and plain-clothed officers were deployed to the polling station, citing security reasons. He would only say there were sufficient officers if issues arose. One of the issues last week was the loud music from both the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement tents. Hines says it was against the rules this time around, and officers put a stop to a PLP flatbed truck with loud music as it pulled up.
In a democracy, you give certain concessions. However, we do not want to break the rules. This, for all intents and purposes, during this time is a sacred place. And we don't want to send the message that anything that's going to be perceived as unfair is going to be allowed. And so we cause that vehicle to cease and desist, and we put them in a place where they were also very happy.
And speaking of cease and desist, as I was standing up here preparing for my live, I did hear some music, as I mentioned earlier, and just behind my cameraman, I saw ACP Hines quickly exiting the school and coming across, and just a few seconds later, that music stopped. So even after the polls closed, he wanted to make sure that those rules were enforced. Back to you, Jerome.
All right, thank you very much. Our Jasmine Brown live for us from the Anatole Rogers polling division. Thanks for that update, Jasmine. We'll be checking back with you throughout the night. I understand we have some preliminary votes from my team here. You all are inside the parties, and you can tell us some stuff. Xavier, I think you gave me some results we want to get to right now. If you can tell us what they are at this point.
Well, I am getting that the FNM in polling 6B has 92 votes. The PLP got 72.
Anything from the coalition?
I don't have that number.
No, okay, right, all right. So this is 6B, polling division 6B. Of course, these are unofficial results. The Asante, I understand you may have gotten some as well?
Hearing 14B.
14B, this is polling division 14B.
Pickstock 86, Brown 46, and Roll 17, unofficial.
All right, these are unofficial. Okay, I just want to sort of use this right now as a litmus test as to how the night may be shaping up. We have the FNM ahead in one polling division, but the PLP ahead in another polling division. What is that saying to you all very, very early on in this race?
Very close race.
Very early. Let's see what else comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are really excited. This is very nerve-wracking for Xavier and I. We're used to being on the
accustomed
ground.
to being outside.
Yeah.
Outside.
So this is very interesting for us. But slowly but surely, they're typing the numbers into us, and so we'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you. And that's why we're happy to have you here. So as we continue to await those numbers, the advanced poll turnout was 88% of the 283 voters. Does that number suggest enthusiasm for any of the campaigns?
Advanced poll were individuals who participate in an advanced poll are special grouping. These are individuals who are saying, I want to vote, I am prepared to vote, I need to do so early for various reasons. Being that they're working the polls, so that means you're normally a part of one or of the campaigns, or you're one of the poll workers, a police officer, those type of things, or you're traveling, I believe, you can get special requests. And so this is a group that's saying, I want to vote. So I think that the fact that 88% of them showed up, it's usual. I think those would reflect the usual trends when it comes to advanced poll.
Are your numbers able to tell you where these polling divisions are located?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 14 is Dignity Gardens and Renaissance, the new subdivision. 16 is a very large
16 or 6?
6.
Mm-hmm.
6. 6 is a very large polling division that has, I think, almost 900 plus voters. That is Boatswain Hill and the surrounding areas. And Boatswain, I think, is Boatswain East and Boatswain West.
Because I was just going to say 6 and 14 have two.
They have two parts.
So that was only 6B and 14.
So that's only a fraction of the 900 that are in there. Because I was going to say that seems really low for 900.
Yes.
And of course, 14B is only a fraction of overall 14.
Correct.
Okay, understood. So that's giving you just a glimpse into the polling division. That's also telling us that the full numbers for those polling divisions have not come in yet, which is why we haven't gotten any full numbers from the Parliamentary Registration Department. But that's just giving you a glimpse into how things are shaping up. We are no further than when we started in this process, if I'm honest. It's now 52 minutes after the polls have closed, and the results are still trickling in. Another question for debate in this election, or in this by-election, which was campaigned, there was a lot of hard campaigning going on in a big ground game. In your view, how much does that matter in a by-election? Big ground campaign, I know both parties had everyone out. There were many political well-knowns canvassing this area, this constituency over the past few weeks. How important is that in a by-election, or does that really matter?
I think it's necessary either way. One being that you have to have a very strategic and strong canvassing effort. Door to door is where the game is. We have not evolved beyond that just yet, and so I think that's super important. When you talk about those individuals from our various parties going door to door with you, it adds credibility, especially when you have a new candidate for us at the door. You have those individuals who have a proven record. So you have a JoBeth Kobe Davis, a Pia Glover Roll, a Leslie, a Bryce. These women in particular are women that I can say are always working, always doing. And so when they're along with a Darren Pickstock, they're saying, this is our brother, this is our colleague. He aligns with our vision as well. And so when they see you come and knock on the door, that means you are aligning yourself with that same level of work and the same level of commitment. So I think that's been very effective for the PLP in the past few weeks.
All right, Xavier?
Well, Jerome, I kind of see that from the PLP is catching up. Knowing that there was a lot of work to be done on the ground in Golden Isles. And yes, they put out their party's machinery on the ground because they knew that they had a lot of ground to cover and very little time to do so. And so seeing a lot of cabinet ministers across the constituency working in polling divisions, this one has this polling division demand, etc., just showed that they knew how important it was to get on the ground because the FNM has been on the ground.
But that's not unusual.
Correct.
In a circumstance like this. You bring out your big guns, you bring out your well-knowns, you bring out those who are doing well nationally, who people are drawn to. The Asante would have mentioned a Pia Glover Roll, a Leslie, a Bryce, a JoBeth Kobe. These are if I can say, stars of the PLP. Did the FNM have the same set of stars that they pulled out?
Well, what the FNM did do was we all worked together as a team, and we did bring out our candidates on the ground. But what we were doing is we were doubling down, right? We were doubling down with across the constituency, just following up with residents, getting more voter information, etc. Because we have already covered those polling divisions multiple times with Brian over the past 4+ years.
Desante, you mentioned something about the door-to-door canvassing, and you said it in the context of it's something that we are still doing. It has been a part of our election process for as long as we have been doing these elections, just as rallies and other things have been a part of that process. Do you think that moved undecided voters? Do you think that's still effective to those undecided voters? Because I think once people make up their minds, whether you come or not, they're going to mark that X. So it's really the undecided voters you're going at. Is that still an effective means of campaigning for those voters?
As someone who's been door-to-door in multiple constituencies, I would say yes. I say that because I believe that at your door is where you feel safe. So if you have to attend an event, I feel as though it leads to a level of bias. So if you attend a rally or a town hall meeting or these things, it's almost as if you're automatically painted as now a supporter of that party, versus as an undecided, you come to my door, I set the terms. I'm able to ask the questions. I'm able to give you an okay answer if you wish. I don't have to pledge an allegiance in that moment. So I think that is why it does work. I also think it's how you get people to be honest. Sometimes at an event in public, I find that Bahamians really don't like to shame you. So in front of a crowd,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, you might say you all right, or you just might not answer. But at your door, I could be a little bit more frank.
I can tell you what I really have to say. Yeah.
And in a respectful way, because again, I'm not embarrassing you. I'm just being honest with you. And so it still has its pros. For me, being in the digital space, and of course, as a millennial, I would love for us to evolve. But we have to create those neutral spaces, though. We have to create those spaces where no matter where I stand, I can sit in a room and hear from the various candidates on a level playing field without feeling that I have to choose in that moment whose side I'm on.
It is very important, simply because when you go door to door, you're able to touch and reach these constituents where they are. Some of them have concerns that need to be addressed right then and there. Concerns that you would never see, they would never pick up the phone and call you about. But the fact that you're at their door, they will give you the answer and they'll tell you those concerns. Additionally, it allows organizations, political parties to be able to gauge in the direction of what the election will look like. And depending on how many resources get placed on the ground, what happens in the constituency, etc. So when you go door to door and you're able to talk to people and they're telling you, yes, I will support your organization, or I am a supporter, you're able now to start counting those votes, because that's what really matters at the end of it.
All right. We are going to go to our Megan Shepherd, who is with the PLP tonight. Megan, I understand you're standing by with the Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, but whose role tonight is obviously very focused on the party. We're with Latreille Rami.
Absolutely. He said he is wearing his party supporter hat tonight, Jerome. Latreille, talk about the journey here tonight at the finish line. The polls are closed and now it's just up to counting.
I mean, it's been a very rewarding but exhausting exercise. It's always a good opportunity to engage with voters on issues that's important to them. As you hear in the background, the PLP's candidate is coming up, but it's been a very long 30 days. We've got here, of course, by tragedy, but I hope that the government is vindicated by the support of the people of Golden Isles.
Talk about the energy out here tonight. Do you think that this is a sign and a signal?
I mean, we always believe that the PLP is a strong political organization, very robust, very well-oiled, very organized. We felt the momentum on the ground, very coordinated, both digitally and on the ground. So I think that, it's been a really humbling exercise.
This is being dubbed as a test run. Do you agree with that?
I think it's a good assessment. I mean, by-elections are always a good litmus test as to where voters stand. We didn't see it we didn't run on it being on something that focused on the government per se, but we thought that we had a good representative candidate that we wanted to put forward.
You know, we had some hiccups last week. Are you anticipating a smooth closure to tonight's event?
I think so. I think so.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? I know you want to get back to the action.
No, I think that we just thank the people of Golden Isles for participating in this democratic process, and we thank those who are participating in a very civil exercise.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And as you heard, Jerome, the candidate is on the ground. The energy has picked up. The cheers have gotten louder. The horns are honking. Mr. Bickstock is on the ground. And so we will try to grab him in a few minutes as soon as he gets settled. And we will hear from him about how he is feeling tonight. Back to you in studio.
All right. Thank you very much, Megan Shepard. Their numbers are coming in fast. Italia Hall joins us now from the decision desk. Italia, what can you tell us?
All right, Jerome. So the numbers are rolling in slowly, and we have polling division number 9 here with the PLP, Darren Pickstock at 54%. We have Brian Brown with the FNM, 37%, and then Brian Roll with the COI, 9%, and Karen K. Butler, which she is an independent candidate at 0% at this time. So the numbers are slowly coming in, Jerome, and we'll continue to watch and see what happens next.
All right. Thank you very much, Italia. I know we have some numbers coming in from our folks here on the desk as well. What can you tell us?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, so in polling division 12, we have Brian Brown with 122, Darren Pickstock with 88, COI 22, and Butler 1.
All right, I have here polling division 9, PLP 77, Brown 68, Coalition 16, Independent 1.
Okay. Any other numbers that you have for us? That's it for us. All right.
14A.
You have 14A.
Yeah.
All right.
122, Pickstock, 60, Brown, 11, Coalition, 1 Independent.
All right. So as we continue to try to bring those numbers together, we go back to our Italia Hall, who's at the decision desk. Italia, begin to put us into put these into context.
All right, Jerome. So I just want to break it down a little bit better for our audience. We have 98 votes, and that's 54% of the voter turnout. As for Brian Brown for the FNM, and that was Darren Pickstock that I mentioned earlier. Brian Brown, 68 votes. That's 37% of the voter turnout. And then we have Brian Roll for the COI. That's 16 votes, and that's 9% of the voter turnout. And of course, we have Karen K. Butler, who's still at 0%, and this is polling division number 9.
This is polling division number 9. All right, thank you, folks. All right, we have our Danielle Miller, who is in Adelaide. She's with Adrian White of the FNM. Denny, over to you.
Yes, Jerome. Adrian White has been here basically all day. Am I correct?
You are correct, yes. It's been a great day out here. Adelaide Primary in the heart of Western New Providence. Between here and Anatole Rogers, that's the 2 polling grounds for all of the polling divisions to date.
Now, from your observation, what can you tell us?
Well, from what I heard about 5 minutes ago is that it's coming around even. So I think polling division 14, which is in Anatole Rogers, and polling division 9, from what we've heard from the PLP camp, is that they think that they've won a part of each of those. 14 has 2, an A and a B. 9 has 2, an A and a B. So they've won 14, one of the 14 and one of the 9. And I understand that we've won polling division 6 and polling division 7. And while I've been here, I've heard that our tent has been cheering again. So I'm hoping that's another polling division in favor of the FNM.
Now, you've been a very active supporter during this campaign. Was this the results that you were anticipating?
I think it's a great result for the Bahamian people. I would have loved to be free and clear with no polling divisions, but that's not a reality of for most constituencies. So I think it's looking good for the FNM with these results that are coming in now. And I just hope that each party maintains a level of decorum and respect. Be happy about your winning, whether it's FNM or PLP, but don't be unsportsmanlike when it comes to the party that doesn't come out victorious today.
And my final question, since you've been on the ground all day, in terms of the process, do you think it went very smooth?
Out here at Adelaide Primary, it definitely did. I'm happy with the police presence. They've continued a openness of the road all day so that voters could get in. There has been some tussles back and forth. I think some TikToks have already come out with maybe Cindy Patrice Daxon and me. So we've gone through some smaller battles, but it's all been for the greater good, and I'm happy to continue to play a role as a Bahamian in the process.
I'm happy you mentioned TikTok because I didn't want to say it, but definitely a TikTok star here and member of Parliament for St. Anne's, Adrian White. Back to you in studio, Jerome.
All right, thank you very much, Danielle Miller there. She's out of the Adelaide polling station. We go over now to our Sasha Lightbourne, who is with the COI leader, Lincoln Bain. Sasha?
Right now, Lincoln. Yes, Jerome, we are here with the leader of the Coalition of Independents, Lincoln Bain. And Mr. Bain, you were at Adelaide, you were at Anatole, you were back at Adelaide, back at Anatole. Talk to me a little bit for you how the day went for the Coalition of Independents.
The day started out rocky with entering the gates. There was some scuffles and bursting through the gates. But after that, there was a smooth process in terms of the voting itself. There was a lot of breaking the law in terms of you're supposed to have 3 people on the outside from each party, and that didn't happen. You had scores of people from each party, especially at Anatole, who were crowding the area and campaigning on the inside, outside of the poll area, right at the door. I've never seen anything like that. That was shocking. I'm surprised the news didn't actually cover that. I don't know if the news is allowed to go in there, but that's something that happened.
Okay. Now, talk to me a little bit about tonight. I know last week, Monday, there was chaos. You were a part of that chaos. But talk to me a little bit about your expectations for this evening. It seems as if the night is a lot quieter. We are actually inside the gates of Anatole, where things seem to be a little quiet. There's no rustling like there was last Monday. But what are your expectations? What are your expectations for tonight?
I think last week happened because one party was allowed to start playing music and campaigning right outside the poll, and that was the FNM. And so everyone else decided that, that should not have been allowed. And so that's why everything got rowdy for the whole day until up to that evening. That started it because there was no discipline. But today, no music was allowed. The unfair treatment wasn't allowed. And so it was more smooth in terms of that. I even saw camaraderie inside the polls amongst Bahamians from different parties. They were sharing food and water and different stuff. And I think that's the Bahamian spirit right there. Yes, it's the politicians who have been failing us, but we need to stop being divided, along political lines. So outside of it, that's really what went down.
And Mr. Bain, final question for you. I know the slogan is change ain't coming, change is here. What does that mean, particularly as we are now on the tail end of this by-election here in Golden Isles?
Well, we're on the tail end of this by-election, but we are definitely on the heels of a general election. We are getting ready and geared up for the general election. We were thankful for this opportunity to be able to train a lot of our people who are not normally interested in the political process, and they are newbies to this. They got to walk door to door. They got to get experience at the polls, etc. And so we are getting geared up to take this country back. Change is here really means that the change is here because we, the people, are here. An election process is about a choice. It's not about who wins and loses. It's about a choice. The people can choose to continue with bad government. The people of Golden Isles can choose that none of their issues will solve and they don't want it solved. And that's your human right. And so people have a right to choose whatever they want, and they get what they choose.
All right, there you heard it from Coalition of Independents leader, Mr. Lincoln Bain. We're going to try to get to the candidate as well, Mr. Brian Roll, who is a substantive candidate for that party in this Golden Isles by-election. But for now, things are getting a little bit more exciting out here, Jerome. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Sasha. We're all anxiously awaiting to find out who will be the next representative. But for right now, those numbers that you see on your screen represent half the vote count from polling division 9B and 11B. Folks, what do you think are on the top of mind or the top of the mind? 14B are the numbers. Folks, what do you think are what's top of mind for voters as they went into the poll today?
Well, firstly, voting for someone that they would be consistent and would be able to bring the type of representation that they so desire. One of the major concerns, and I'm sure Deasante can attest, is that Golden Isles residents felt like they needed some more tangible representation. And so I think that's one of the things that they looked at while they were going in the booth, maybe who is producing, who has been producing, who's been there, who they maybe want to give an opportunity to, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that's what they took into the booth today.
I also think they took with them who has done enough thus far and what is tangible, like you said. And I think even in the short 5 weeks, Mr. Pickstock has represented the tangible work that he is setting out to do for Golden Isles. So you see the work happening, he's on the ground, but I think it's going to be bigger than that. I've had the opportunity to witness Mr. Pickstock in different spaces, whether it's at an event at Sandals Rehabilitation Center or supporting the Crisis Center. This is the work he's passionate about. And I think people got an opportunity to meet him, understand his vision, and give him a chance. And I think tonight is going to show that. I also think people took with them aligning with the current administration and building upon the progress that's happening now. And I think they want to ensure that when election is called, whether it's 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, that they have representation over those months that truly will deliver results. And that is Mr. Pickstock. And I believe that's what the results will show very shortly as we go through the night.
All right, we're attempting to organize these numbers for you in just a moment. I know that you see the numbers on the screen. We are trying to get those numbers organized so that we can display them on the board and get a sense of where they are coming in. So I'm asking my folks in the back to give me an idea of what's happening. All right. So we're going to go to the Parliamentary Registration Department right now. We have a feed in there tonight to help us to put this all into perspective. All right. So we will check back in. Those numbers have just come in, but we will come back to them in just a moment. All right, folks, I just want to get a full idea of from you guys what your folks are telling you at this hour.
Well, they're telling me that as each result is coming in, it's looking good for us. But we're just waiting for the final count. They don't want to get excited too quickly. But they're you could definitely feel the momentum at the various polling stations at this time.
They're telling me simply that this is a race that is so close. The numbers are coming in, but there's so much more polling divisions that they're waiting on to be able to say anything more.
All right, folks. So as we await the numbers, we're going to take a quick break right now just to reorganize ourselves. Stay with us. You're watching RTV's live coverage of the election results here tonight coming out of Golden Isles. We're going to take a quick short break and be back right after this.
The best.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, so I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any Live Fiber Infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt into SportsX for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
I'm very excited, and I can't believe it. It's it's a dream come true. When she did call me yesterday about it, I didn't know what to believe. Thanks to Mr. Coleman and this whole staff for what they do, and making sure the customers are taken care of, making sure we enjoy the gaming they do give to us. Chances is the great house to play, even down to the staff, is perfect. They're going to marvel.
Don't think these mud tubes look threatening? Think again. There are signs that a large-scale termite invasion is already underway, advancing through a property, costing thousands of dollars in damages. If you're building, you need Termafilm, a revolutionary pre-construction termite treatment from Rentokil Initial. Termafilm is a polyethylene film treated with termiticide that's applied prior to the foundation of a building. It's easy to install and forms a long-term termite barrier without contaminating soil or groundwater. Before you build, trust Termafilm pre-construction termite treatment, only from Rentokil Initial.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say they...
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution.
Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court apartment complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Kendino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now.
Go to Doctors.
3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, and Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to the environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevi Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
And welcome back to our continuing live coverage of Decision Day in Golden Isles. Just so that you're clear, those numbers that you are looking at on the bottom of the screen, those are the overall numbers. That's a tally of all of the votes thus far, and it shows you where each candidate is within the vote count towards victory. I'm going to ask my two experts here to give us a glimpse into what's happening in the various polling divisions as we await those official numbers, but I know that you all are getting numbers from your folks within the field. I want to go to the PLP column, if you're able to give us an idea or a snapshot of what's in the win column for the PLP, unofficially, of course, Diasante or
Xavier.
Well,
I lost my page.
So far we are seeing that polling division 12, the FNM is in the win column. We also see polling division 7, the FNM is also in the win column. We also see polling division 3, the FNM is in the winning column, and I'll pass it back to Diasante.
Yeah, so in addition to what I shared earlier, which I think included polling division 14A, that's how we're looking there. We also, I would have shared the other ones earlier.
Go ahead, go back to those
of what we
in the
had,
win column.
All right, so what we had going on there, I have about 10 different groups going. Everyone's excited. But we definitely had, I'm looking here, to our various polling divisions, but I got a different number for 7, so that's hopefully the same people counting. And then I saw in polling division 9B, the PLP. So I think it's just the numbers we're getting. Everyone's sending different WhatsApp messages, but I think we're all just excited and looking forward to the unofficial, official numbers.
I mean, we can see the numbers on the bottom of our screen there, and it looks like, from what we're getting, that the PLP candidate appears to be in a lead overall. Is that what you're getting from your folks in the field at this point?
Yes. For the past, this is now almost an hour, that's what I'm getting, is that we are in the lead based on the counts that are coming in. There's still about 7 more polling divisions, I believe, that we're waiting for unofficially, officially, to get a better feel of where we're at.
All right, so we're going to check in now with our Talia Hall, who's over on the board, who's going to help us to break these numbers down a bit to tell us where we are. Talia, what can you tell us?
All right, Jerome. So the numbers are rolling in quite a different view from what we saw earlier. I'll start with the PLP, Darren Pickstock, and this is 48% of the voter turnout, 673 votes. For the Free National Movement, Brian Brown, 607 votes, and we can see that's pretty close to the PLP, and that's 43% of the voter turnout. As for the COI, Brian Roll, 132 votes, that's 9% of the voter turnout. And as for independent candidate Karen K. Butler, we don't have any votes as yet. As of now, it stands at 0. So we can see things are shifting.
And you can see over just at the top, just slightly behind you, that's 43% of the reported of the vote count. 43% reporting in right now. Thank you very much, Natalia. I know you're keeping a close eye. Now, as we are just an hour and a half since the polls have closed, I've been in these things a little while, but I'm going to ask you, as our expert, our resident experts, give us an idea of what this means for either side. You're about an hour and a half in, and with 43% of the vote counted thus far, and the numbers are still 48-43, what is that saying to you?
To me, we're not there yet to call it. We're too close to call, in my opinion. I also think that if you're familiar with the various polling divisions, people normally vote in waves in those spaces. And so the next few boxes could show a completely different turnaround. And so I don't think it's time to celebrate yet. I know my team is feeling good, but I think we just need to count one ballot at a time. I think you just need to stay steady and stay focused at this time.
Xavier?
I just want to say, like I mentioned in the beginning, it seems to be very close. Like Diasante said, we have so many polling divisions to come in, and those polling divisions have various different amounts of people in them. Like I said, polling division 6 is actually one of the largest ones, with 900 plus people.
We're going to go to the parliamentary registration in just a minute, so just stand by for that. As soon as they come up, we're going to switch to that. But I want to point out 132 votes for the coalition's candidate. That is a chunk that could be benefiting one of the major parties. And, you know, I heard former, before we get into that, I think we're going to go over to the parliamentary registration department to get some unofficial numbers. Let's go over there now.
Polling division number 2. Polling division number 2. Brown, 117. Brown, 117. Butler, 2. Butler, 2. Pickstock, 106. Pickstock, 106. Roll, 24. Roll, 24. Polling division number 2. Polling division number 13. Pickstock, 89. Pickstock, 89. Brown, 62. Brown, 62. Roll, 19. Roll, 19. Butler, 1. Butler, 1. These are all unofficial results for the night. Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch over to Atalia Hall in just a minute, who is going to, again, put these into perspective for us. But we've got 2 polling divisions in. Again, the numbers on the bottom of your screen showing the overall count there. But again, folks, Atalia's in place. We're going to swing over to her. Atalia, if you can take us through those numbers that we received and looking at the overall percentages at this point.
Sure. So right now we have 57% of the votes reported. With the PLP, Darren Pickstock, that's 868 votes, and that's 47% of the voter turnout. For the Free National Movement, Brian Brown, 786 votes, 43% of the voter turnout. As for the COI, Brian Roll, 175, and that's 10% of the votes. And Karen K. Butler here, we're still showing 0 votes, but I know we just heard from the parliamentary registration department, we heard about, I believe, 2 votes or so in each polling division. So we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, thanks much. Again, folks, still a very tight race when you consider that in those results, each candidate, there was a different winner, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the FNM took the first one and the PLP the second. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got 2 polling divisions, one going to either side. The needle not moving much, still 47% for Pickstock, still 43% for Brown. We saw Roll's percentage increase at 10%. Even though we heard numbers there for Butler, it still doesn't amount to a percentage on the board. I just wanted to point that out again. When you begin now to look at this, are there any early indications of what voters may have taken into the polls with them, or is it still too early to tell?
I would say one thing voters did take in consideration was that, especially for Brian, he isn't seen to be losing any support. He's either holding firm of the support he received in 2021, or he's literally growing that support. And I'll say that. It seems as though the BLB also is holding their ground as well for some of that support. Some of those people who may just staying along the party line, or some of those who are actually vying, or not vying, but really supporting Darren Pickstock. But we have so many more polling divisions to come.
All right. Deasante, what are you, in your estimation, what do you think people were taking in?
I think they were. So I just was stuck on what something Xavier said in terms of when you say along the party line. If you look at Golden Isles again, if you're talking about 2017 election, 2021 election, in 2021 they gave the PLP a chance, and I think what they have done is agreed with that opportunity. I think they just want to assess that candidate and the performance they received, and they want more. And I think they went and figured out who's going to give me more. They want different. They want change. They want even more effective representation. And what does that look like? And I think where you see that growth in everyone, I think, is we want something different. Now, what does that look like? Is that different with the PLP? And I think that's what we're offering, is that you get a new candidate, but you get to align yourself with progress and an administration that is doing the work. And I think that's really important. And you're seeing that. It's a bit tight, but I'm still very hopeful.
All right, if you're just joining us here on the broadcast tonight, two well-known faces from the two major political parties are joining us in studio. Progressive Liberal Party lead, digital lead, that is, Deasante Benavi-Small,
Promotion.
and President, promotion, yes, and President of the Torchbearers Association, Xavier Knowles. After tonight, you definitely go need that. Most definitely. All right. My next question, really, I'm going to start this with you, Deasante, given what is at stake here. How much political capital is really on the line for the governing party tonight?
Not as much as people would think.
Why not?
I think, again, if you have been door to door, you hear from those constituents, and really it was personal for them, personal in their constituency. And I think there's always two types of voters, or three types of voters. There are individuals who vote for themselves, whatever they've gained personally, or for their homes. There's the individuals that vote based on their immediate constituency, and then there are those who vote for country. And what we found is that a lot of individuals were really concerned about their constituency and themselves. How is this bettering my environment? How is this improving my community? And where have we missed the mark along the past few years? And so I don't think that this was really an indication of just the PLP. I think it's an indication of a constituency choosing better for themselves, for their everyday immediate needs.
Xavier, a loss for the FNM tonight would mean a second by-election loss for its current leader. What dangers does that present for him?
I would say it doesn't present any dangers. What it allows us to do as an organization is to adjust and prepare ourselves for a general election. We've been working for the past 4 years since our leader has been elected on 2 occasions at convention. We know what happened in West Grand Bahama. It was a predominantly PLP seat. However, we're in a different situation here with Golden Isles, but the decision that is made tonight in any way, shape, or form will not affect who our leader is, because our leader will be our leader going into the next general election.
Well, I ask you that against the background of these continuing challenges and questions about his leadership, continued challenges and questions from former Prime Minister and former leader Dr. Hubert Minnis, who the party has indicated will not be its standard bearer in the Kalani constituency. Many within the party who say he is not the right man for the job. How do you continue to hold the party together if you are facing 2 consecutive losses and we've not even gotten to a general election yet?
Yeah.
How do you justify that?
I mean, firstly, we've not lost.
Hypothetically, all right, so we give hypotheticals. Sorry, we're speaking in hypotheticals.
You can hold an organization together. By-elections are, I don't want to call it tests, but really they're tests. They're tests on the way that we can test the public's response to our organization. If we are gaining support, we are gaining support. That's just what it is. But the general election, our leader has not gone to a general election to have a full test of the entire Bahamian populace. So until that time, I think we're still in good hands.
All right, well.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Because I think you have to be a student of it all, right? And so you sit down and you watch, and you have to see who responds and who is showing up. And in addition to Brian Brown, the country at large should be getting to know your leader as well. and they should have an attachment to them. Because even, sometimes you might not be a fan of your MP, but you love the leader.
But you love the leader,
right?
yes.
And so sometimes you need that extra push, that extra pull. And that's even why, even when you see the former Prime Minister, Hubert Ingraham, join the stage, it's because they understand that when you see certain leaders, they bring a different audience, they bring it out. And so that's what they were hoping for. And so I think that there is a level of test of leadership. And I think that if this goes how it's seeming to go, I think the FNM is up for a very interesting few months, a very interesting Christmas at least, of figuring out what direction their leadership should be in that resonates with all Bahamians.
Now, this is all hypothetical. I just want to be, I want to be fair in our discourse tonight. So, of course, we are still only at 57% of the vote coming in. And just to note for our audience, that independent candidate Karen Kim Butler has secured so far a total of 6 votes. Now, based on the numbers we have from each of the candidates up at this point, her percentage on our decision day board represents 0 percentage points. All right, but Butler has been able to secure 6 votes. I'm being told now that we're getting ready to go back to the Parliamentary Registration Department for numbers.
Butler, independent, 0. Butler, independent, 0. Pickstock, PLP, 116. Pickstock, PLP, 116. Roll, COI, 27. Roll, COI, 27. Polling division number 11, reporting in.
All right, that's it for polling division number 11. Again, as we said, we were going in. We didn't get the top part of that. Did you?
No, I didn't.
We didn't get it. All right, so hopefully we'll get that from our folks in just a minute. So that is polling division number 11. As we were telling you, Karen Kim Butler has secured so far a total of 6 votes. Now, based on the numbers we have from each of the candidates up at this point, her percentage on our decision board represents 0 percentage points. Butler has been able to secure 6 votes. I do want to make that abundantly clear. As for the COI, as the last numbers we received, they appear to be gaining ground. They've got, once we can tally those 75 final votes, I think it's a little more than what we saw a moment ago. But based on what's happening, they're at 252, I think 202. 202 total votes for the COI at this point. You can see there, you can see Pickstock has 984, Brown has 888, and 202 from the COI. Let me ask you folks this. Did you expect the coalition's performance so far tonight? Did you expect these numbers, more or less, pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same. I don't have the exact numbers that would have been
all right, sorry, we've got a cut. We're going to go back.
Unofficial results from polling division number 1, Adelaide Primary School. Brown, FNM, 140. Brown, FNM, 140. Butler, Independent, 2. Butler, Independent, 2. Pickstock, PLP, 244. Pickstock, PLP, 244. Roll, COI, 13. Roll, COI, 13. Unofficial results from polling division number 1, Adelaide Primary School.
All right, so we have there the updated numbers. This coming from polling division number 1. Brown of the FNM 140, Butler, the independent candidate there, 2. Pickstock with the PLP 244, and Roll with the COI 13 votes. We're going to swing over to our Talia Hall, who's on the board, who can put this into perspective for us now. Talia, you can see the numbers in their full breadth, so to speak. Give us an idea of where we are numbers-wise and percentage.
So I want to start with
percentage. We have 71% of the votes reported. And I want to start with the PLP, Darren Pickstock. We now see this number has increased tremendously. He's now at 1,228, and that's 50% of the voter turnout. As for Brian Brown of the Free National Movement, he's at 1,028. We see a big shift in those numbers, and that's 41% of the voter turnout. As for Brian Roll of the COI, that's slowly increasing, 215 votes, and that's 9% of the voter turnout. And I know earlier we reported that Karen Kim Butler, she has about 6 votes. We don't have the percentage as yet, but we will continue to watch these numbers. And so far, that's 14 polling divisions. There are 7,926 persons registered, and 31% of the voter turnout, well, 71% reported so far. So we will continue to watch and see, and we see things are moving in quickly as we move later on into the night.
Thank you very much. We are now at 7:40, approaching 2 hours since the close of the polls. Only really 9 percentage points between the two at 71% of the vote. Both of you have been in elections before. What does this say to you at this point? And I'm going to start with you, Xavier, from the FNM side.
Well, it seems as though we're coming almost to the end of it. It is still close. It's very interesting. We have a very large constituency, 7,000 voters. Seems as though less than 3,000 people voted, and so the lower voter turnout is playing a huge factor in what this by-election result will be tonight. But I think that's just what it is.
I am hearing voter turnout, which is probably somewhere around 2,500, maybe even less than that. 31% of the overall percentage of voters, 7,926 registered. We're already looking at 71% of those votes cast. So it starts to shape that picture tonight, that narrative of what happened in this constituency. We can say unequivocally low voter turnout. We're going to check in with our Sasha Lightbourne, who is standing by at the Anatole Rogers School. Sasha, I understand that some of the ballot boxes have already left here, left that site, indicating that those votes have been counted and that box sealed.
Jerome, that's not exactly correct. What we have seen is that the ballot boxes have started going into, I'm going to move out of the way, but there's a police vehicle just behind me, and we have seen some of the boxes go into that bus. There's also an RBDF vehicle that has arrived that's in front of that bus. And so I anticipate that in a short while, those boxes will be removed from the premises. Now, let me repeat that. No boxes have left the Anatole Rogers High School as yet. However, we have seen boxes come out of the polling divisions in those respective classrooms, and they have been put into one of the police boxes. Now, last Monday, there was just one van. Today, I see 2 police cars. I also see the presence of Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and I also see a lot of party supporters standing around that bus. So what I suspect is happening now is that those boxes are going to come into that bus. The representatives, I believe the law says that 2 representatives from each party can also go inside that bus, and then that bus will leave from the Anatole Rogers High School. And I believe the returning officer said to us earlier today that those boxes will actually be taken, if not to Parliamentary Registration Department, to the police headquarters on East Street. So we're going to continue to keep you posted. We have seen a lot of movement. It has gotten quiet on the outside, but definitely busier on the inside right behind me. Like I said, 2 police buses are there ready to go, and we have seen some ballot boxes, those gray standard ballot boxes, go into that bus already for the evening.
So thank you for clarifying that for us as well. It does indicate that those particular polling divisions, the count is complete. And so once the count is complete, the boxes are removed, put into police custody, where they will be taken to a safe place for the recount, which takes place tomorrow. Of course, thank you very much, Sasha. We'll let you go for now. That would indicate there that we are winding down. Once those boxes start to move from the physical presence into the police custody with the representatives, that portion of the count is done. All right, and so at 71% of the votes counted, thus far, or 71% of the returns so far. It gives you a clear indication of where we are in this process tonight. Again, we are approaching the 8 o'clock hour, which will put us at 2 o'clock. Sorry, I think 2 hours in to 2 o'clock. Like U.S. elections. That will put us 2 hours into the count. Do you see tonight's vote as a preview of national elections? And I ask you that when we're looking at the low voter turnout right now, 31% of the overall vote. We saw it last time, but there were a lot of reasons last time as to what was happening, or why those numbers were low. Historically, are by-elections low voter turnouts, or is this a trend that we're seeing?
So globally, not just nationally, by-elections, off-season elections does seem to have a lower voter turnout.
Unless you were Americans who came out in some of
Very true.
Okay, for various reasons.
Right.
Okay, I just need to throw that in there. All right, go ahead.
But I think it's an indication of the 2026 elections from a standpoint of it may be close, but definitely with the PLP leading, and that's my bias, right? But it's also my observation thus far. I think that lower voter turnout may not be a challenge in the 2026 election. I say that because you have established members of parliament, you have established candidates who have time to develop those relationships and ensure that level of engagement to increase in the voter turnout. I think you're talking about 5 weeks. You're talking about real concerns that needs to be addressed. You're talking about ensuring that there is buy-in and this opportunity. I also just think that when the country is not as focused on this election, people just, for whatever reason, is not as focused on a by-election. So I met someone and they were like, what you mean a by-election happening on Monday? And so in our world, right? In our world.
That's how I felt when people were texting me today. I was like, it's a by-election. Why are you texting my phone?
Correct. But no, the rest of the country was about their business.
Oh, very much so.
So it's very easy for you to miss it. If you're not as engaged as we all are. So I think that's part of it in this particular moment. But I think in 2026 we will see the right numbers around our usual trends, because I think Bahamians love being part of the process.
I'll come back to that point. Xavier, do you agree that this low voter turnout is indicative of a by-election, or is there something else at play here?
I think your question was in reference to the general election.
Yeah. Last general election, low voter turnout.
Yeah.
Tonight, low voter turnout.
Yeah. I think that it's slightly indicative of a for what may happen in a general election. But I want to say this, Jerome. In terms of a general election, whoever wins or lose tonight, it is also important to note that there is so much more work to be done, and the script can still be flipped going into a general election.
Do you agree?
Yeah. I think any candidate, any member of parliament watching tonight, however it goes, should be back in their constituency tomorrow. The work continues. If you take this as an indication of a win on either side and just get comfortable, then you are not reading this correctly.
Very profound statement tonight. Our Talia Hall is standing by. The map that she has a map up tonight that's going to show you how the numbers are. I'm about to take over your job, Italia. I'm sorry.
You were
she has a map to show us. That's all I'm going to say. You take over.
Thank you so much. We control the board. Well, here we have a map, and we see things are filling up pretty quickly. In the yellow, we have the Progressive Liberal Party. In the red, we have the Free National Movement. And this map you're looking at shows the results in tonight's vote, thus far showing the polling divisions secure by party. The only polling divisions we're waiting on are what you see in gray, and that's polling divisions number 4, 5, 8, and 10. But so far, we're seeing some movement with police and several buses stationed at the Adelaide Primary School. But up to this point, we see 71% of the vote counted.
All right. Thank you very much, our Talia Hall. We want to check in now with our Danielle Miller, who's at the Adelaide Primary School tonight. Danny, what can you tell us?
What I can tell you is just a few moments ago, a police truck entered behind those gates, and we saw what appeared to be poll workers leaving, which gives us an indication that they are getting ready to move those ballot boxes from Adelaide Primary. The crowd here is beginning to diminish. Unfortunately, members of the Free National Movement and supporters, very, very quiet. And just a few moments ago, I would say 5 minutes, PLP supporters that are still here rejoiced in excitement as we think that they've gotten another set of numbers from those polling divisions. There are some COI supporters here, but as well, they are quiet. Right here at Adelaide Primary, the temperament is up and down, but coming from the PLP camp, there is a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation as we all await for those ballot boxes to depart Adelaide Primary School.
Danielle Miller there at the Adelaide Primary School. You heard there that the ballot boxes are leaving that area as well, telling you, of course, what has happened there. That was a very small polling station. There were only 4 polling divisions there out of the possible 14, and so that count happening pretty early and wrapping up. Do you see, as we come out of this, do you see tonight as a preview of what's to come nationally, or do you think that this race is too unique to draw any big conclusions?
I think we've delved into that a bit, but I think it's given us a moment to pause, and I think everyone's going to go back to the tables. I think earlier you were asking about the coalition's performance, and so I pulled up my numbers from 2021, and so you see that you had over 7 candidates in 2021 in Golden Isles alone, and those candidates collectively as a third option would have been 580 votes. So even when you see this, and you said if we expected that, what you expected was, again, when you're talking about Golden Isles, when you're talking about almost 8,000 people, you're going to have individuals who want something different than the standard established parties. That's not new to us. But what is important to us is that it should not be this tight. It should not be that close on either side. It should be a very clear indication, yes for the PLP or yes for the FNM. And so, like I say, tomorrow, let's get to work. However this crumbles today, I think if you are not making notes, I think for me, in the past 5 weeks, I've made a lot of notes for my respective candidates of this is what you should be doing, this is what you should be working on. It did give a lot of us insight. Maybe you missed some people at your door in your constituency, but Golden Isles is very vocal, they're very intentional, they're very clear on what they're looking for, and so even if they didn't show up, they were very clear door to door on what their needs are and what they look forward to seeing from their government.
All right, Xavier, you
I want to look at what those results were last election as well. Vaughn Miller received 2,471 votes. Brian Brown at that time also got 1,844 votes. He lost by 600 votes during the last election. What we're seeing currently tonight with these current numbers are that obviously the PLP significantly lose a lot of votes so far. We still have some more polling divisions coming in, but
you say significantly. How do you?
Because right now they're currently at 1,228. Last election they got 2,471 votes.
But again, you have to look at, and that's why I keep saying Golden Isles is a peculiar
It's a very swing seat.
Because you have, not just that, the candidate in 2021 was an FNM that crossed the floor.
Yes.
So again, an FNM crossing the floor, and any candidate crossing the floor, you take some of your supporters that are with you. So does that 2,400 represent a PLP vote? Some of that is a Vaughn vote, if you would say. You're talking about a candidate who would have had the success or the experience of almost 9 years. Right? And so you can't compare that to my candidate with 5 weeks. And so again, do you compare that straight down the middle? This is the first true PLP candidate in how much years now? All right. So what you see is a momentum that's building. Now, if you're talking about decline, like I said already, coalition, you had 500 plus votes last election of third-party support or non-established party support. When you talk about Brian Brown, a gentleman who's been on the ground for 8 years, has been a part of the FNM camp for longer and being on the ground, you're talking about almost an 800 difference in that. So let's see the difference here. At the very minimum, I think Mr. Brown should have started out with 1,844 votes and then built from there. That's what he should have, at the bare minimum, gotten tonight.
All right, we have our teams on the ground. Some are moving around right now, which indicates to us that word is getting around that we may be getting some final results soon. So some of our teams are moving. I do want to point that out again for the benefit of you watching us at home. Those are the numbers that have come in officially from the Parliamentary Registration Department. Those are unofficial numbers, but still coming out of the Parliamentary Registration Department. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more results, more commentary, and of course, more from our folks in the field. Stay with us.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, so let I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come, experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Somewhere's Plaza, got it going on, yeah. Somewhere's Plaza, one-stop shop in the square. The family, community, for me. Southwest Plaza, come shop with us. Shop, 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 we've got so many stores. Shop, shop, our prices are right. Come spend the day, bring the family. Southwest Plaza, come shop with us.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people.
And welcome back tonight, our continuing live coverage of Decision Day in the Golden Isles constituency. And if for any reason you're just joining us on this broadcast tonight, Two well-known faces from the two major political parties are joining us in studio. Progressive Liberal Party Digital Lead, I got it right, Desante Benabi-Small, and President of the FNM's Torchbearers Association, Xavier Knowles. We also want to check in with our Talia Hall at the Decision Board for a view of where we are 2 hours after the polls have closed. Italia, we are right at the 8 o'clock mark. What can you tell us?
All right, Jerome, yes, the map you're looking at, you see things are changing very quickly. We still have some gray in some areas. However, it shows the results in tonight's vote thus far. 1,228 for the PLP, 1,028 for Brown, and 215 for Rule. The only polling divisions we're waiting on are what you see in gray. That's polling divisions number 4, 5, 8, and 10. Up to this point, we see 71% of the vote counted. Again, the colors on our map showing the polling divisions secured by party.
All right. Thank you very much, Italia. From your perspective, folks, are things pretty much shaping up as you thought they would in those various polling divisions? You see the FNM right in the center there, and you see the PLP on the outskirts in those divisions. Are those polling divisions coming out the way you thought they would?
Yes. Again, conversations I had today with my colleagues, my team members, we knew that it would not have been this landslide because of time. I think with more time, you would have seen a bigger gap for the PLP, but I did, and my team did see that the PLP would be victorious, and it's looking and shaping up that way. What I'm hoping for is, again, that tonight gives us a win in our column, but also the wind and the reminder to keep working, keep building on progress, and that when we truly work together as a party as well, it does make a difference. Go ahead.
Hypothetically, Xavier, what would a loss for the FNM mean tonight?
I think it will mean that we just have to get back on the ground, continue to do the work. We know there's some things that needs to be done across the country generally, some things that we definitely have to do in Golden Isles. We know that there are a lot of voters in Golden Isles that have not transferred into Golden Isles, and so we need to ensure that many of them do that. Some people who missed this recent by-election because they didn't go out and get registered. I heard a lot of that while I walked on the street, and a lot of those votes are FNM votes as well.
Let me ask you this. It was almost at the 11th hour when the party leader, your party leader, announced that you would be contesting this vote. For a long time, those of us in the media and others were asking, are you going to contest? Are you going to contest? I think it was a pretty much a foregone conclusion that Brian Brown would be the candidate. But it was not until the 11th hour, almost just before nomination day. Why so late, one? And was it a good idea to contest this? Many have said, they should have just, the party should have just said, you know what, we're going to focus on general election. Why contest this so close to the election?
Well, firstly, I mean, there's this theory that we waited late. Be mindful, we had a ratified candidate before anyone else. Brian Brown was a part of the first batch of candidates that were ratified.
While I hear you announcing that you are running is a different thing.
Yes, but one thing that our leader wanted to do is consult with FNMs, consult with Bahamians on whether we should run. But one thing that we found was one of the main the backbone to his decision was simple. We are the Free National Movement. We are a political organization, and we are made to contest elections. Wherever there's a vacancy, the Free National Movement is responsible enough to contest that seat because we have voters in those communities that believe in our vision, believe in our philosophy, and believe in whoever our candidate can be. So it's important for us to ensure that we put ourselves on the ballot so that they have a clear choice to make on election day.
All right. We are going to now check back in with our Sasha Lightbourne, who I understand is standing by at the Anatole Rogers polling station. She is still standing by, I'm being told. Welcome to Live TV. All right. So, folks, again, with just four polling divisions to go tonight, with the PLP's candidate at 50% of the votes counted thus far, 1,228. Brian Brown at 41% of the votes cast at 1,028. Brian Roll of the COI with 9% of votes cast at 215. And there are just a handful of votes for Karen Butler, but still her numbers do not amount to a percentage point on our board thus far. We're going to go now to our Sasha Lightburn, who I understand is standing by ready for us at Anatole Rogers polling station with the COI candidate, Mr. Brian Roll. Sasha?
Yes, Jerome, thank you so much. We are here with Brian Roll. He is the Coalition of Independents candidate for Golden Isles for this by-election. Mr. Roll, I know a lot of the numbers are in. I think my colleagues back at the studio said they're only waiting on 4 more polling stations to come in. Are you ready to concede? What's the next step for you?
No, I'm not ready to concede. Quitters never win and winners never quit. This country is still worth fighting for. Obviously, COVID didn't teach us anything. And I'm going to stay in the game. This country have a lot of potential. I mean, come on. We have 700 islands and keys. Food security, should be our number one. Should have been our number one priority. The issues are still there. Aside from Golden Isles, our country, no fire trucks, no ambulances, no proper hospitals, no proper clinics on our family islands, no proper airports. Come on, this country still needs to be fixed. So I cannot give up. This is the only country that I have, and so I will keep moving on. Again, this is my first rodeo, and I'm quite pleased.
All right, Mr. Roll, but are you ready to concede this by-election? I know the numbers are speaking for themselves. Are you ready to concede this particular by-election and then maybe continue working towards the general election?
Well, I'm going to let it continue to play out. I'm not going to concede. It is what it is. But I'll just wait until the final numbers are brought in. And, moving forward, I'm just going to hit the ground, get more in touch with the people of Golden Isles, and let them know, we're not getting what we should in this country. And, we might have a long way to go. But I can tell you one thing, Brian Roll is not going to give up on you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Roll. You heard it here first from Mr. Brian Roll, the Coalition of Independents. He is their candidate in this by-election. He said he is not ready to concede. He wants to see what those unofficial results are once they are all done and tallied up. If you look behind me, you can still see, however, that convoy is assembling. They're getting ready. It seems as if more boxes have gone into the police bus, and so we will be here as long as that bus is here. I know that I see a lot more party supporters as well. Coalition of Independents, as well as Free National Movement and Progressive Liberal Party supporters are there. We are going to try to get Karen Butler. I have not seen her for the evening, but we will try to get her as well. Back to you in studio, Jerome.
Thank you very much, Sasha Lightburn. Roll says he's not ready to concede, saying that quitters never win and winners never quit. Also saying that he's still in the game. I cannot give up. Speaking to a number of issues that he says are prominent on the minds of Bahamians. Think we'll see the same fight from any of your candidates should they not be successful tonight?
Well, Brian Brown has simply said he's never left Golden Isles, and he never will. He's been a resident for over almost 25 years, and no matter what the results are tonight, Brian Brown will continue to be on the ground, serving the Bahamian people in Golden Isles each and every day.
All right, Diasante?
Yeah, I believe Mr. Pickstock will be right there tomorrow because, again, the plan, I think, was not to be here as a by-election. So I think there's a bigger picture here for him. I think he has a plan that supersedes this moment. And I think that whatever the result is, he's going to stay on the ground. He's going to do the work.
Let me ask you this. Was he always pegged for Golden Isles?
I think, I can't say because I'm not a part of that process. As someone who has also been a part of that process, what I would say is that you have a lot of qualified PLPs who've come forward and they have had the opportunity to be ratified. And I think that such a time as this, Mr. Pickstock was selected. And I think he's done an amazing job thus far. And I look forward to the work that he's doing. What I think needs to be clear is that wherever the plan was, I'm not sure what that would have been for him personally. I think the same passion, this same advocacy for the Bahamian people goes with him wherever he may be.
He spoke to, though, a number of issues. that he said still need attention, a number of vexing issues. And these are not unknown. He spoke to the issue with fire trucks, healthcare system, et cetera, et cetera. These are ongoing issues that people are speaking to, that they're living with. General election is near. I'm going to start with you. What is the governing party's plan to begin to address those gnawing, vexing issues that follow us week to week, month to month, year to year?
I think the very clear thing is, and you've seen the message already started in this by-election process, is that this is the work we've done, but this is the work that we're building upon. There's more work to do. I don't think any candidate, any MP is going and saying, we've done everything, we fixed everything, that's it, give us a start. What we're saying is, realize that we have been committed. We have rolled up our sleeves every day. We have committed ourselves to get these, to move the needle. And so you see that with a lot of things that we sometimes shy away from in this country. We get upset with the groundbreakings and the ribbon cuttings, but that's the start. That's where the work starts. So when you see the renovation to clinics, when you see the Freeport Health Campus, when you see the commitment of a new hospital, when you see the renovations to the current hospitals, when you see this is happening, it's going to take time. And so what we're saying to you is that we are building upon this progress. We're not saying that all is fixed. We're saying we have more work to do. And I think that's the right message, because we should not invalidate Bahamians' experiences and their frustrations. What we're saying is that we're the best government, the best party to actually make something happen for you.
Xavier, how do you respond to that when the government is able to say tangibly, we have done these things, and this is our, I'm going to steal a phrase, our blueprint to project, to progress?
Well, firstly, we've been here before, right? And we see where the government has laid out a plan and made promises to, let's just say, West Grand, Bahama, and Bimini. And we've seen right after a by-election, 2 years later, a lot of those promises were not fulfilled. The question is, yes, the government came into Golden Isles and put down some new tar and put down some new sidewalks, but will that work continue? We've seen where it has not continued in West Grand Bahama. There's still streets that need lighting in West Grand Bahama. There's still issues that need to be dealt with 2 years later in West Grand Bahama. What will happen during the next 6 to plus months of the rest of this PLP administration? What will happen? Will they continue the work?
I love how, Grand Bahama is judged, Kingsley is judged in 2 years, when the Grand Bahama has held the majority for so long, and yet, where has Grand Bahama really gotten? This is really the PLP working and building upon the progress. And again, sometimes it feels slow, I get it. And I think we're saying that, but what we're saying is that we are the party that's truly willing to get the work done. And that's seen, it might be small steps, but those are bigger than no steps. Even like in Golden Isles, you were talking about Brown's consistency on the ground, but there was no 10-point plan till late in the game. As a matter of fact, Pickstock within hours had his plan ready to communicate to the people of Golden Isles. So time is not always the thing. It's actually the tangible work and progress that makes a difference. And I think that's what you're seeing here, a little bit of that, and I think that's what you're going to see in 2026.
So, Jerome, I just want to touch on this 10-point plan, right? Anyone can put together a 10-point plan. They can put it in ChatGPT and they can push out a 10-point plan just like that. But being able to stick with that plan and follow through after an election is what's important. The Darren Pickstock did not have any resources to come into Golden Isles with. He was just a senator, a sitting senator of the government. The government then decided to push its machinery behind Darren Pickstock. Vaughn Miller was the member of parliament for 4 years and could not get Carmichael Road paved. He could not get Unison Road paved. He could not get Spikenard Road paved. He could not get the coal to stop burning off of Golden Isles Road that is affecting the people in accidents in States 1 and 2 and other parts of Golden Isles. The coal is still burning. But yes, we got some money, we pushed that and we paved the road, and yes, we have people even up to tonight still laying down sidewalks. They digged up old sidewalks, putting down new sidewalks along Carmichael Road. But what will be the rest? What will be the rest after tonight? What will the government continue to do? Win or lose, what will they do?
And I do want to draw you back to a comment made by Pickstock very early on, which I could go on a limb and say was a misstep, coming out and saying that the people of the constituency have been neglected when it is his party
Yes.
who has held the seat of government in there for 4 years. But how do you argue against that when you had a sitting cabinet minister who was the member of parliament for this constituency for 2 terms under a previous administration and under this administration, and still so much was not done?
And I think, so there's 2 factors there, right? So one, I think that Darren, while in a communication standpoint, all of us would agree, might have been a misstep in that moment, but I think the Golden Isles constituents appreciated it because he did not validate its reality. If we are frustrated, if we feel neglected, that is my reality. And I think he prioritized their reality over the talking point or what was the ideal thing. So I respect that.
Which is a little unusual in politics.
But I respect it, right? And I think the next thing is that it gives us, again, this by-election has given us an opportunity to assess some things. And I think an assessment is saying, how do we hold our members of parliament accountable to ensure that they represent the collective work, the collective progress? Because you could have 30 of us working and there's one who's not doing all that we need them to do. That's our reality. That's your reality, I'm sure. And so I think what is important is we hold them accountable sooner. I think this was very delicate because of the circumstances of how we got here. I said, but I think that what Mr. Pickstock has shown in a very short time in these 5 weeks is that he will get the job done. But prior to that, I must speak to Mr. Pickstock's record in being involved. And like you said, as a sitting member of the Senate, he did not have the resources, but he was still active. He had still had a back to school. He was still partnering with mental health projects. He still was partnering with the Bahamas Crisis Center. He was still doing something that's tangible, and you could find the photos, you could find the work, and you could identify the impact. Mr. Brown says he's been on the ground for 8 years. I'm fine with that. He said he's done the work. Okay then, but where's the plan? You had 8 years to develop one, whether it's to use ChatGPT or not. You had the time, and you should have done it and communicated it. I think you should have also been able to find the resources, because what happens when you win as an MP but your government doesn't win? Do you sit back and use that as an excuse? No.
And Mr. Brown has not done that. Mr. Brown has simply said he's been writing the Ministry of Works for years. This issue, these are the issues that the Golden Isles residents are saying. He was not even the MP. Vaughn Miller was the MP. He's been writing on those issues, sending it to the sitting government. And they've not only ignored him, they've ignored the people in Golden Isles, and they've ignored their former member of parliament, Vaughn Miller, who I assume would have also wanted those issues addressed.
All right. So, having said all of that, I do want to ask another question related to the campaign itself. The PLP had high visibility among cabinet ministers. We saw that in the run-up, in the campaign. Even today, you saw the pieces earlier where we were talking to a number of ministers. Was that an asset, or did that over-politicize a local race?
I think it's an asset. I say that because, again, like Xavier would have mentioned, when you go door to door, there are some key issues that are addressed. And sometimes it's better that addressed with individuals who could access or immediately respond versus, okay, let me get back to you. So timing more than anything.
When you've got, and this goes back to historically, I think, why sitting parties or parties that are sitting governments are able to win by elections. So historically, and this is not me making this up, historically, a sitting government will win a by-election. And is it because those cabinet ministers can go in and have those conversations with residents that an opposition party cannot have, because you're holding the government, so you're overseeing what's happening in government. You are able to make those decisions as cabinet ministers. Is that an easier conversation to have?
It's a more effective conversation to have. Why not talk to someone that can assist me sooner rather than later? I don't think anyone talking to an opposition is saying, oh, you can't help me, you might just not be able to help me now. And I think that is the difference. I think, however, though, it speaks to a bigger issue we have in valuing the role of opposition, that sometimes you could still have amazing representation even in a member of parliament that is not in government. There's no way that one day everyone needs to be on the winning side. Someone has to be on that other side. So we have to evolve, whether it's a special committee, whether a way for the opposition to present their concerns. But let's evolve. But sometimes we're so focused on winning the next election, we don't look at how we're strengthening our current system of governance. The opposition should be able to address concerns just as equally as any member of parliament that is in government.
I see you wanted to respond.
I think it's very concerning that as a constituent of any particular constituency, but since we're talking about Golden Isles, that I have a concern that needs to be addressed by any given government ministry. And it takes a by-election, or it takes a minister to come knock on my door to realize that, no, I have not received my permanent and pensionable letter, or two, my child is autistic and cannot get the resources they need in our public school system, or whatever these issues are. Why does it have to take of a minister to come and knock on someone's door to address these issues? These issues didn't just pop up because of a by-election. Some of these issues are long-standing. Why can't we have governance where people can access our legislators and get the resources and things that they need to help to provide a better life?
Xavier, if I may for a minute, what we are talking about is not unique and is not new.
Correct.
I have sat in this seat many a time and watched a governing party, of which you are a part of, do the exact same thing. I have seen cabinet ministers of the FNM out campaigning in a by-election when they were government.
Yeah, but it does not make it right. It doesn't make it the best option. That's why I'm saying we should not be using government resources or using the people's resources, really taxpayers' dollars, to win by-elections just because it is timely and it's effective and you have the power to do so. If we're governing for all, generally, whether it's PLP or FNM, if we're governing for all the time and doing the things that is necessary, then people will feel different about politics.
I'm very happy that you have said that, because there is much blame on all sides.
And that's what I'm saying to you. I think, again, I've never seen any party prioritize being the best opposition that ever existed, that ensure that, I'm going to put these measures in place, because what we do, we lose on Monday, we come up with the plan for the next 5, where we go win again in the 5 years. Let's be real, Cindy.
Yeah.
We don't sit down and say how we're going to strengthen the opposition. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what you're saying tonight. What you're saying tonight is, how do we create that opportunity that if I am constituency from anywhere, how do I address my concerns without the red tape? Or, my MP is not a cabinet minister. Because sometimes, even if you're government in power, if you're not a cabinet minister, it's not as easy for you. That should not be. So let's talk about that.
I want to move to our next question. Now, the FNM has been framing today as a referendum on the cost of living. Did that message resonate with voters?
Yes.
How so?
Currently, at the current numbers that we have, we can see almost close to 5,000 people that did not show up. They did not show up, and that means they're not comfortable in, one, putting their trust in this current government, or they don't feel that this
Is
current
that the message you're getting?
No, I'm getting that, because if you feel comfortable, if you feel comfortable in something, you would either invest in it or support it. Correct?
But I can challenge you that they may not have been comfortable with the candidate.
Either candidate. That too.
Or any of the candidates. There were 4.
But even
so how do you just put that blame at the feet of the PLP?
No, I'm just saying. But even if you look at the total number of votes currently on the screen so far, because this is what we have, you can still see between the FNM and the COI that there are more people in Golden Isles that voted that did not support the PLP.
Or wait for the final, because I get some updated numbers.
Or do not believe in the what the PLP is doing.
You're getting some other numbers. We are still awaiting those 4 those 4 polling divisions, 4, 5, 8, and 10. I think it was.
4. I'm hearing 100 for the PLP, 101 for the FNM. Nothing is listed for the coalition. They're still waiting. 5, and you said 10. 10, I have 108 for the PLP, 125 for the FNM, and 26 for the coalition. At this time, a total of 1,592 for the PLP.
Sorry, this is overall?
Overall, 1,592. The FNM, 1,305. And coalition numbers aren't right, so I have to see what's happening now.
Okay, all right. So we're still waiting to see when those numbers pop up on the board, but your folks are on the inside. So again, you see here, if those numbers hold in polling division number 4 by 1 vote, is that what we're looking at?
So I'm sure that one would be very interesting in the recount.
Wow. And then in polling division number 10, possibly the FNM may have won that with 125 versus the PLP with 108, and coalition All right. Several voters have expressed frustration with national policies. In this by-election, is this by-election a protest vote for some constituents? We started to allude to it based on the amount of voters. Is that something that we can, are they frustrated with national politics, you think?
I think they are. And that's why, as political organizations, we must be better, do better, and present ourselves in a way that we can regain the trust of the Bahamian people. That is the only reason why you can see right now, tonight, a third party is gaining, has a slew of votes, right? And that's because people are looking at options all around. Many of those people have voted PLP or FNM, but right now they just want maybe another option. But generally, we know that in this country and in most systems,
we're gonna have to cut for a mention. Parliament registration.
9A. Brown, FNM, 77. Brown, FNM, 77. Butler, Independent, 0. Butler, Independent, 0. Pickstock, PLP, 128. Pickstock, PLP, 128. Roll, COI, 12. Roll, COI, 12. That's polling division number 9A. Polling division number 4. Brown, 101. Brown, FNM, 101. Butler, Independent, 4. Butler, Independent, 4. Pickstock, PLP, 100. Pickstock, PLP, 100. Roll, COI, 34. Roll, COI, 34. They're the unofficial results from polling division 4 and 9A. Thank you.
All right, as we get ready to officially calculate, we're going to swing over to the board now to our Italia Hall, who's going to put those numbers into perspective. We'll break them down a little further. Italia, what can you tell us now?
All right, Jerome. So we have some new numbers that came in, and this is 86% of the votes reported. We start with Darren Pickstock of the PLP. 1,436 votes. That's 49% of the voter turnout. Brian Brown for the Free National Movement, 1,254. That's 43% of the voter turnout. And as for the COI, 241 votes. That's 8% of, well, the numbers just shifted, Jerome, so I want to go back over that again. So we have for the PLP, Darren Pickstock, 1,564. That's now 49% of the voter turnout. As for Brian Brown, 1,331. That's 43% of the votes. And as for the COI, Brian Roll, 287 votes. That's 9% of the voter turnout. And of course, we're still watching the results from Karen K. Butler.
Thank you very much, Italia. We see there the overall numbers. I want to go through those polling divisions. One of them we already knew. Thank you to Yasante for giving us those numbers. Brown with 101, Pickstock with 100, and Roll with 34. One vote within that polling division. One vote. And when you sort of add them up all together, you're looking at within that probably like 135 total votes in that one polling division, which I'm sure is extremely low for that. 9A, which is something we were not expecting. Brown of the FNM, 77. Pickstock of the PLP, 128. Roll of the COI, 12, and 0 for Butler. That we were not expecting, but I guess that ties into another polling division that was up a bit earlier. Again, the overall numbers we see there, you can see them on your screen to tell you where you are. 86%. So we are certainly in the, I guess, the final quarter of this game tonight, if I can use that. My skills in calling games. I just want to say that. All right, so with these numbers thus far, there appears to be a tighter margin than in 2021. What message should each party be taking away tonight? When you're talking about one vote within a polling division, again, 49, 42 at this point at 86% in, not a large margin.
Correct. I think that every party should be going back, like I said already, to the drawing board, and not to say reset, but to see where the gaps are. And I think that, if we're being honest, sometimes that could be one, overlooking supporters. Sometimes you assume because someone supports you, they're going to show up.
Well, sometimes they always support you, so that house
man,
is
that's
such
straight,
a
right?
that's straight, yeah.
Correct.
Well, you got some voters in there who are like, nah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or you find there's something happens. You might wake up this morning not feeling well, and you might just not have the energy to go. So checking and knowing your voters. Two, think the opposite. Sometimes we assume, oh, that person's the other side, so we don't bother. So don't take any vote for granted. And I'm just putting on a different hat as well. I think what we're missing in this whole arena is the NGO non-political voice on getting out the vote, though. It cannot be left to the PLP and the FNM to get voters out. There has to be neutral voices. My sorority is always working, and so I know that in 2026 there has to be a bigger presence of non-PLP, non-FNM voices to get voters out, because it has to be a better turnout than this for the country, not for my sake, not for the party's sake, not for the FNM sake, but for the country. We should be turning out.
This is historically low for us.
Yes.
40% voter turnout thus far. With the numbers still coming in. We're going to swing over now to our Sasha Lightbourne, who is at the Anatole Rogers polling station, where there is some movement happening. Sasha, what can you tell us?
Yes, Jerome. I have been told reliably that there is only one more box to enter the boxes behind me. I'm going to move out of frame. Now, since you guys would have last come to us, 4 police outriders on motorcycles have come into the area. There are now 2 buses parked, one behind the other. One, I assume, with party supporters and those eligible to ride in the bus along with those boxes, and another police vehicle behind. I see members of the Free National Movement, including their attorney, Khalil Parker, who would have spoken to us immediately following the advance poll last week. I also see members of the Progressive Liberal Party, as well as members of the Coalition of Independents. So I expect that at any minute now, we are going to see the convoy leave from the Anatole Rogers and either head to the Parliamentary Registration Department or head to police headquarters. Now, what I can also tell you is on the outside of the gates, police have already begun moving those barricades. They've moved barricades from on the inside of the Anatole Rogers premises as well as the outside. The PLP has completely cleared out. I understand that they have gone to their headquarters on Bacardi Road. And while members of the FNM also remain right here waiting for Brian Brown, I understand that he is in that grouping behind me. Now, as for the Coalition of Independents, we asked them what they would be doing. However, they told us that they would be heading home. And so we're going to continue to stake it out. We will not leave this premises until that convoy has left. We've been told that they may be going straight to police headquarters or they may be going to Parliamentary Registration Department on Howard Road first. We will stay here for all of that so we can bring...
Anatole Rogers. Brown, FNM, 46. Brown, FNM, 46. Butler, Independent, 0. Butler, Independent, 0. Pickstock, PLP, 86. Pickstock, PLP, 86. Roll, COI, 17. Roll, COI, 17. That's the unofficial results from polling division 14B.
Now, you were just listening to results coming in from the Parliamentary Registration Department. That was Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson. Now, like I've said, the convoy leaving from the Anatole Rogers High School has not left us yet. I will move out of the way so you can see what we're seeing. Party supporters from all 3 major political parties. Some are leaving, while some will ride in that bus that will carry those ballot boxes to a secured location. We see a bus driver, we see lots of police, and also since you guys have last been with us, we saw 4 police outriders on motorcycles that I'm assuming will escort the 2 buses to the secured locations where the ballot boxes will be held. Now, the progressive members of the Progressive Liberal Party, including their supporters, have already left this premises. Members of the Free National Movement remain, and I do believe that they are waiting to see and hear from Brian Brown, although we have been told he will not speak at the school. He will speak at his headquarters here in Golden Isles, and members of the Coalition of Independents have told us that they are done for the night. They have left for the evening. So we will be here as long as this convoy is here until, as Mr. Bain would have told me, until the last nail knocks. We will make sure we bring that convoy leaving to you. If we can bring it to you live as it happens, we will definitely do so, as it will happen really, really quickly as it did. Well, it didn't happen as quickly last week at the advanced poll, but we do anticipate that it will happen rather quickly here at Anatole Rogers. Back to you in studio, Jerome.
Thank you very much, Sasha Lightboard. We just want to get those numbers added in that we just received, and I think we'll almost be ready for a projected winner. I think we can pretty much say at this point how things are shaping up tonight. So I'm going to, in just a second, be able to give you that projected winner. All right, so let's send it to the board, Italia.
All right, Jerome, so we see these numbers are continuing to increase for Darren Pickstock of the Progressive Liberal Party. He's now at 1,650 votes. That's 49% of the voter turnout. As for the Free National Movement, that number is lower. That's at 1,377. That's 42% of the voter turnout.
67. Butler, Independent, 0. Butler, Independent, 0. Pickstock, PLP, 109. Pickstock, PLP, 109. Roll, COI, 23. Roll, COI, 23. They are the unofficial results from polling division number 8.
Are the latest number from the Parliamentary Registration Department. But back at the board for the COI, Brian Roll, 304 votes, as 9%. Okay, those numbers just shifted again. Just so our audience get a clearer understanding, I'll go through those new numbers that we just got. So we'll start with the Progressive Liberal Party's Darren Pickstock, 1,868. That's 49% of the voter turnout. Brian Brown for the Free National Movement, 1,511. That's 40%. As for Brian Roll of the COI, 350 votes. That's 9% of the voter turnout. And as for Karen Kim Butler, we're still watching those results for her. And so far, 93% of the votes.
All right, on your screen there, Italia, we just put it up. You can call it
All
from
right,
your board.
the projected winner, Darren Pickstock of the Progressive Liberal Party, and so far he has 1,868 votes.
All right, thank you very much, Italia Hall. We have here our projected winner. Diazante, congratulations to the Progressive Liberal Party and to your candidate for retaining the Golden Isles seat in this by-election. A close race starting out, but we saw that pull away, and Pickstock maintained that lead throughout tonight, even though in some of those polling divisions the count was close. But a win tonight that remains within the PLP column.
Yes, thank you. All right, so tonight we celebrate. Tomorrow, let's get to work. My mind is already racing. I see my chats are going. I think what this is telling us is that we just have more work to do. And tonight, the people of Golden Isles has decided to build on progress. And so we're here with them. And we will not leave the ground. And we will be getting to work.
Of course, we're going to try and get to the PLP headquarters. I know that our Megan Shepherd is there and getting set up. And we know that they've already started celebrating there at the headquarters there. Xavier, your response tonight, your candidate who has been on the ground for 8 years, he said, came out again looking to secure a victory, but he didn't. With 93% of the vote in, clear that Pickstock is the winner tonight. You see the numbers there at the bottom of the screen. Mm-hmm. Your response?
Well, I think obviously Brian didn't get the result that he expected tonight. However, knowing who Brian is, what Brian
One
does.
second, we're going to interrupt you just a second.
139. Butler, Independent, 1. Butler, Independent, 1. Pickstock, PLP, 124. Pickstock, PLP, 124. Roll, COI, 19. Roll, COI, 19. That is the unofficial results from polling division number 5.
All right, you see there the results of polling division number 5. Again, it's important. We just want to keep those numbers coming in so folks know how those polling divisions ended up at the end of the night. Xavier, you started to say, obviously this was not the outcome that Brian Brown and the FNM were hoping for. But before we get to you again, I think we're going to check in with our Megan Ferguson, who is with the Shepherd. I'm sorry, Megan, I'm marrying you off. My apologies. It's our Megan Shepherd who's standing by at PLP headquarters. Megan?
All righty, Jerome, you can hear the music behind us. The excitement is kicking up. We are here with the Jeopardy Party leader, Chester Cooper. Talk about the energy tonight.
The energy is great. This is an exciting day for the Progressive Liberal Party. It's an awesome day for Darren Pickstock. And I believe, the people of the Bahamas and the people of Golden Isles have spoken. We're waiting for the official results. Darren Pickstock is projected as the winner, and we're hoping for the official results soon. We have a great democracy in the Bahamas. Everyone has an opportunity to express themselves openly, clearly, and secretly in the polls. I think that happened today, and I'm excited about the democracy in the Bahamas, the Progressive Liberal Party, and I'm happy for Darren Pickstock.
And we know Mr. Pickstock talks a lot about continuing the progress started by the late Von Miller. Talk about that progress and continuing.
Von Miller always talked about making the wealth more common. The Progressive Liberal Party is about progress. We're about empowerment. We talked about uplifting people and creating new opportunities, creating new industries, and Darren Pickstock is about that. He's the chairman of BIC. He started the work in terms of food security. He started the work in terms of cutting or reducing the cost of living. And therefore, we anticipate this work is going to continue. Over the course of the last 4 weeks, we've done some great things in the community. We've addressed the concerns of the people. We promise we will continue to work, and we promise them respect. We promise them to be present, and I believe Darren has a few months to be able to demonstrate to the people of Golden Isles that he is a man of action. And going into the general election, I anticipate that this is going to accrue positively for him.
And how does this overall atmosphere and this win energize the entire party moving
PLPs love to win. I said in the rally the other night, all we want to do is win, win, win. And I think that's the atmosphere tonight. We take this obligation seriously, and we recognize that if we are going to advance the lot and the quality of life for the Bahamian people, we got to be in government. And therefore we recognize step one is to be in government, and then be governed in accordance with the wishes of the Bahamian people. So I think we're on the right track. Today is a great start, a great momentum into the general election, and we plan to continue on this path, serving the people of Golden Isles just like we promised we would do.
Awesome, thank you so much. And now we have Minister of Agriculture, Chairman of BAIC.
Sure.
Talk about working with Mr. Pickstock now in a different capacity now as your parliamentary colleague.
Well, it's certainly been a pleasure with him working in his capacity as chairman for BAIC. And I saw firsthand him bringing that drive, that passion, that zeal and zest for what he is doing into the constituency of Golden Isles. And so the people of Golden Isles can look forward to having someone who is ready and prepared to roll up their sleeves and actually deliver on every and anything that he's promised during the campaign.
Awesome, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Lightborn, how are you feeling about tonight's victory?
Yeah, very elated. It's first, congratulations to Darren. Very good candidate. He fought hard. Also, congratulations to all the persons who would have put themselves forward. And we just know now that with work we still have to do, there's good momentum going into a general election next year as anticipated. And we know that this is a definite momentum giver for our party. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. There you have it, Jerome. The energy is picking up. Unofficial results, of course, we are still waiting on that official count. We will be right here tonight when that official count comes in. Back to you, in the studio.
A year or so before the January level.
Thank you very much, Megan Ferguson there at the PL. Megan Shepherd. I keep marrying off Megan tonight. My apologies.
I love this
It's been a long. Yeah, you got a promotion. She got married. I just handing them out tonight. Our Megan Shepherd tonight. Thank you, Megan. We're going to check back in with you. She's at the PLP's constituency headquarters there. I got a message from somebody who wanted me to talk more about the low voter turnout and ask us to talk about it a little bit more, and how politically polarized we are as a country, and whether that you think is contributing to the decision to stay home. And when you think about it, we have not possessed the right to vote in this country for a very long time. It is not something that is a long-standing tradition for us. Our grandparents fought for the right for us to vote, if you think about it, in many ways. And to look at last election, and I get it, for whatever reason, there was a lot going on. But when you look at the opportunity now, today, to get out to vote, and when you have such low voter turn, not even 50%, that has to send a clear message. Or if not, it should be sending a very clear message to all political parties.
It's really a shift in generational values as well. So like you said, my grandmothers.
I just want to pause for a moment. That's why we sought to invite you all.
That's what it was?
This was very deliberate. We wanted a very different conversation tonight. So shift in generational values.
Generational values. And I say that because I believe that when my great-grandfather, my grandmother, when they saw the right to vote, when they experienced that ability to do so, they didn't think about themselves. They thought about me. Versus, I think a lot of people I know today, they think about themselves. They think about as far as their nose could reach. What it doesn't mean for me today. When I vote, I think about my babies. I think about my godchildren. I think about my nieces and nephew. I think about what their future is going to look like. When my niece is venturing out into a field that's not necessarily available here, will this be her Bahamas? Will she want to come home and participate? Is this a Bahamas that's creating opportunities for her? So every time I go into that booth, it's bigger than myself. We have lost that. We've lost that attachment to values and decisions and processes that are bigger than ourselves.
Who do we blame for that?
It's so much layers, though. I think it's in our established organizations that take advantage of that lost value, because we use that against us. But I think it's bigger. I think it's in our homes, in our families, in our churches. It's in so many different spaces that we're having the same type of conversation, the shift in generational values and the things that we truly believe in again. I also think it's also important for us to stop looking to our other countries around us. The other day, someone was mentioning, oh, they do it this way in America and they do it this way in this other country. I'm like, they're not always the standard. They're not always the benchmark for excellence in the way that governance should run and the way that our families should operate and the way that we as communities should move.
I don't want to go down that road.
And so when you think about, no, but you have to think about it.
But
that's what we're consuming
yes,
on TikTok and TV shows
and they are
and Netflix.
no longer the standard.
But that's what we're consuming.
Yes.
And so as consumers, not just in food, but consumers of that content, we are taking on those selfish values of what it means to be all for me, when we have truly need to go back to what it means to be Bahamian. That's why in moments of disaster, like your Hurricane Dorian, you see the best of us.
Yes,
why? Because we get back to the core of who we are as a people. What is the best for my country? What is the best for my constituency? What is the best for my community? And I think we have to get back there. And it is not going to be the political organizations that's going to do that heavy lifting. I think that requires community organizations, that requires the NGOs, that requires the neutral voices, that requires those neutral moments that I have to take off my PLB clothes and put on my sorority clothing and say, this is what is most important.
Or your church group or your civic group. Or on the screen behind us, you would have seen just a moment ago, and even
that's where it's supposed to be.
This is a shot from the PLP's constituency headquarters. Do you thought they said where she's supposed to be?
Yeah, my brother's there somewhere.
Yeah, well, we could try let you go before I get too late. We just like to hear. I think we are preparing for some kind of speech, it seems.
Okay.
Probably the victory speech. I see some organization happening there. My folks will be ready. But Xavier, I'm going to flip the question to you. You know, when you see, and just to get this statistically correct, this election, 51% of the voting of the registered voters came out. Last election, there was 63%. So this time, even though it was a by-election, there was a drop of 12%. And we're going to go to the board in just a moment once our Italia Hall gets into place. But I'm going to allow you to answer that, Xavier. When you see 51% in a by-election, when we're a country that claims to have so many issues and so many concerns, and the ballot box is the place where you come to bring those in many instances, but people are so polarized, there's so much voter apathy.
Yeah, I think it also boils down to education, you know. There are some people that just don't understand the importance of voting.
Yeah, but why should I vote if I've been voting and I don't see my circumstances change?
And that's because historically, successive governments have let down the Bahamian people. So you have young people that are coming up through the process and they're hearing Mommy, Daddy, Grammy talk about, I didn't vote PLP, I didn't vote this one, I didn't vote FNM, I didn't vote, I back and forth, but I still feel a type of way. Yeah. These young people are now not even going to get registered. And like Deasante said, she takes off a PLP shirt or an FNM shirt. When I'm walking the streets, and I find a young person where there's someone who's just playing basketball outside their house or underneath a car fixing something. I say, hey, are you registered to vote? They said, no. I said, no. Why? Correct. Why? This is not even me trying to get them to be registered to vote and vote F&M. This is just registering.
Civic duty.
Yes, and I say to them all the time, register. Even if you don't go to vote on the election day, register, because if you change your mind, you have an opportunity to go and vote.
I'm going to just hit pause for a moment. We have all of the polling divisions in the constituency reporting. I'm going to go over to our Italia Hall, who is at the board. I have a problem with names tonight. Italia is at the board, and give us the full breakdown now of how the vote turned out tonight.
Jerome, it's been a long day, and so far we see that 100%. Well, all of the votes have been reported now at this point, and we'll start with the PLP's Darren Pickstock, which he is the projected winner with 2,007 votes. That's 50% of the voter turnout. As for the Free National Movement's Brian Brown, 1,650 votes. That's 41% of the voter turnout. As for COI's Brian Roll, 9% of the voter turnouts, and he ended up with 365. And as for Karen Kim Butler, you know, we've been trying to follow her results all night, but as for now, we really don't have a count for her, but we'll continue to follow that. But take a look at this map. Here on this map, we'll see it looks even, but in this portion, this is a big percentage of the PLP votes for a polling division. And so we have the FNM in the red and the PLP here in yellow. And so far, this represents 14 polling divisions with 7,926 registered voters. And here are the final results.
All right. Thank you very much, Italia. Thank you for bringing us up to speed on the board tonight. We appreciate the insight. It shows you fully how things laid out today. And just to give you a little context, while the FNM won 9 of the 14 polling divisions, clearly the other 5 polling divisions had larger numbers of registered voters. Pickstock won by 357 votes. And just for context here, and just hypothetically, if those COI voters had gone to the FNM may have won. Xavier, is that something to consider? When, and I want to quote him correctly, your former party leader and former Prime Minister, Hubert Ingram, said there are 2 parties in the Bahamas. The FNM, the PLP, and the other party is a birthday party. Well, what if that birthday party had gone to the FNM?
I mean,
and this is, of course, just hypothetically.
Yeah, I mean, if there were 2 choices, I mean, it doesn't mean that all of those votes may have gone after them.
Right.
Some of them
that is very much true. Yeah.
Some of them may have stayed home as well.
Yeah.
But I think we have to accept now in our political system that third parties will now be a major player.
But they have been a player.
Correct.
This is not the first time.
2012, the DNA.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to have to stop for a moment. We're going to go over to the Prime Minister, who I understand is speaking. Our Megan Shepherd is standing by there at the PLP headquarters. And I think in just a few moments, we're about to hear from The Prime Minister. I think we're just trying to get that feed sorted out.
They're waiting for me to come.
In all things, I give God complete thanks, all praise, and all the honor. But tonight, PLPs, I want to hear you. I want to hear you. When I say PLPs, I want you to respond to me like you have energy. PLPs! Tonight, my heart is full. Give me a chance. You open your doors.
All right, I think we may have a little technical difficulty with that feed. We're going to try and get it back up there. You saw Darren Pickstock thanking him for the opportunity tonight, for thanking his voters and supporters for giving him the opportunity tonight. We're going to try and get that back in just a moment. We do apologize. Some difficulties out there with everything that is going on. From what you have been able to see and from what we've been able to hear, he's already committed to continuing the work.
I think, unlike Mr. Pickstock, as the incoming MP, he has plenty pressure because he doesn't have 4 to 5 years. He has a few months until the next time. And so I think what is very clear is that he has another sprint ahead of him. He has a lot of support. He has created a momentum within Golden Isles, and I think he's going to build on that, just as the PLP has built on progress. I think it's easier for us as a party to come before the Bayman people because we can stand on our record. We can stand on the things that we've done for the past 4 years, but also stand on the fact that we're committed to building and growing and doing more for the Bayman people. So I know he's going to need a nap, but he'll be fresh in the morning.
Yeah, this has been a long day for him.
Yeah.
Xavier, for your candidate and your party, what will tomorrow hold?
Well, I can assure you that office at 509A Carmichael Road West will be open. It will be open and it will be serving the people of Golden Isles. For the past 4 years, it has been the community center. Tomorrow, I assume it will serve its dual function. It will continue to be a constituency headquarters for the FNM going into the next election, but it will continue to serve the community like it has been doing.
All right. So when you look now at when both parties regroup, you've got a national general election that is imminent. We have heard all manner of predictions of when that might be. Tiasante, I have to ask you.
Don't do that. Keep it till tomorrow.
What could possibly be the time frame? We've heard many things.
Between now and then. That's whatever.
Well, you hear what Bible say? Bible say March.
Bible also said, anyway, leave it alone.
All right. I asked you this earlier, Xavier, but this loss for the FNM, second under a Pintard, what does that mean specifically for him? Again, I want to come back to that question of whether he will be able to solidify his leadership.
Well, he has solidified his.
Sorry, we're going to take you back now to Pixel.
None of this would have been possible without my own family. To my wife, who's standing here, thank you for your quiet strength, your patience. You held our home together while walking long days. You reminded me why service matters. Everything I do with you in mind. Thank you. Beautiful. Here.
you so much. You pushed me. You reminded me that every family in Golden Isle wants. Same thing I want for you. Fulfill the promise. Thank you. To my mother and my father, thank you for raising me to believe. Thank you for teaching me to keep my word. Thank you for teaching me to keep my word and to stay humble. Everything I am comes from the sacrifices that you made. Thank you so much. Tonight is about all of you. That is what it's about. My family at home, my PLP family, and my new family, the people of the great constituency of Golden Isle. Golden Isles, you didn't just give me a seat. You gave me your voice. And I understand trust must be earned. And that trust comes through consistency and doing what you say that you are going to do. And I will do just that. Trust. Trust me. Listen, because your voices built this same campaign. I will work because your hard work and families. Tonight, I also want to say a special thank you to our Prime Minister. They call him. Long before anyone knew my name or my story, he saw something in me that I did not in my own self. The ability to serve, to stay close to the people, and to deliver real results. Prime Minister, your faith in me means more than I can ever express. Thank you. You lead with heart. You lead with heart. You stand steady in difficult moments. And you always remind us that public life is about people. You must love people. I am grateful for the chance to be a part of your team. A team committed, Prime Minister, to progress, fairness, and giving more Bahamians a real shot at a better life. Thank you. Thank you for believing that someone like me, with a simple story, a strong work ethic, deserves the opportunity. I will honor your confidence, Prime Minister, through my service to the people of Golden Isles. This victory, Golden Isles, is not the end. It's the beginning. We start tomorrow.
Tell me who's in the building. PLP. Who's in the building. PLP.
Golden Isles, we start with clear eyes and steady hands. We build together. We solve problems together. We bring progress into every home, every street, and every neighborhood in Golden Isles. Golden Isles, I want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. From my family to yours. We say thank you. Thank you for everyone who contributed to this campaign, this national campaign that was led by Jerome Fitzgerald. And also, Jerome, thank you so very much for all that you have done. Thank you. And I thank all of the team who did so much to help me through this campaign. And to Kevin Simmons, I also want to say thank you for co-chairing this campaign. Thank you very much. Thank you, Golden Isles, for giving me this chance. Now let's get to work! And last but not least, I want to thank my colleagues who came out in a strong way to support us, to support me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you've done from the bottom of my heart. Because you've walked these streets in the sun and in the rain. We thank you. PLPs!
Definitely have a privilege as well. That had 40 division and came through. PLP, Golden Isles, we thank you. We love you. We will continue to put in the work. We will commit to the promises we have made to you. Like my brother Darren Pickstock said, the real work begins tomorrow. PLP! Choosing a man that will get the job done for you. He heard your cry, he understands your pain, and he knows your worries and also knows your ambition. And he will deliver, as he said. And he has the full support of your Prime Minister to get it done. And I want to say tonight, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming up. As he indicated, this is only the beginning, because it ain't long now. It ain't long now. And you know that gospel song that says you're winning, you're winning, you're winning. Are you all ready to win? You've demonstrated that once the PLP start rolling and being together, we are an unstoppable machine. It was demonstrated right here in Golden Isles. We have a fellow who lived here, and he's been here for 15 years. And we have to overcome that. And that should tells you, it should let us all know that once we come together and be together and have that machine rolling out, who could beat us? Nothing. We are unstoppable. And always believe that and remember that. And so colleagues and PLPs, as we prepare ourselves for the next step, I ain't bring the bell out yet. You always soon see the bell coming out. But as we prepare for the next step, let us go back into our constituencies and start our work. We must take nothing for granted. This seat was not easy, but nothing what you really want was worth having comes easy. We accepted that, and I accepted that. And so we did not stumble, we did not buckle, we just pushed ahead and did what we had to do. And for that, I want to thank Jerome Fitzgerald and Kevin Simmons, who were the co-coordinators for this campaign, with Fitzgerald leading the charge on the ground. And I want to parliamentary colleagues who brought their teams out and worked in all these polling divisions to ensure we get the results that we had. Yes. The one thing we knew is that we had to get our voters to the polls. Yes. I want to thank you all for that. You put them out. Now, them other fellas ain't get their voters out. That's their business. But we need to get ours out. And we know who we polled and who said they could vote for us. They came out. And I want to thank the voters of Golden Isles who came and supported us. To our opponents, I want to thank him for participating in democracy. I want to thank him. We have to understand it's the third round. Third loss, well, nothing be a failure. Why not try? So I suspect he may try again. But I just want to say that we want to thank him for participating. He ought to have listened to Papa. Yeah. He listened to Papa. And then Daddy put a beating on him. The lesson to that is to listen to Papa. Because you know what Daddy could do or wouldn't do. And so, I want to say to all of us here, we are progressive. We have done a lot as a party. We've done a lot as government. But there's still a lot yet to do. Any objective observer will tell you that this country has been better, is the best it has ever been for independent life because of where we are in our fiscal status. And we're going to improve on that, and that progress is coming. And I'm the first to admit that yet all have not yet felt it. Walking through this consistency and talking to Golden Isles residents, I understand not all of them have touched it. And so our next job is to ensure that what our economic success reaches everyone, every household, and that's our next step. Now, Darren, they've given you the chance that you've asked them for. Let's take advantage of that chance and let's earn the trust. Because they say they didn't know you, because the fella lived with them and he was around for 15 years, so they knew him better. And they chose you. Well, that means now, let's move ahead, let's earn their trust. What we have started is finished, and what else has to be done, let's do it. And so, PLPs, PLPs, PLPs. What a wonderful night. What a good night. What a good night. And I just want to say to each of you, drive safely. Let us go home, rest tonight, wake up tomorrow because the work just began. Thank you very much. PLPs! PLP! PLP! Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We gonna do it for you. PLP is the way. Every hour we keep, we gonna do what it takes. Every day.
PLP party, PLP party, PLP party, PLP party, FNM party, DNA party, independent party, any other party, PLP party, PLP party, PLP party, PLP party.
We have heard from the Prime Minister and party leader. We have also heard from the member-elect for Golden Isles, Mr. Darren Pickstock. Your impressions tonight on some of the words that we heard. I've got a few, but certainly I'm going to start with you, Diasante. This is your party and your victory.
Yes, I think Mr. Pickstock started off best with gratitude, and then PM, I think the clarion call is get some rest because tomorrow get to work. And so I think we share the same sentiments. I think we're excited, but I think everybody is pausing and understanding and reflecting on the fact that Golden Isles is counting on us and also the Bahamian people at large.
Xavier?
Well, like Brian Brown has said, he is he's still here. He's not leaving. We work for you. Tomorrow, even though the PLP may be back on the ground, the FNM will be back on the ground harder because we will continue to do our work.
In hindsight, even given what the former Prime Minister said, we're going to get to that in a minute. But first we want to check in because I've got a couple more questions. We want to check in the field one last time, check in with all of the members of our team with our special coverage tonight. And I want to begin really with our Jasmine Brown, our Megan Shepherd. Our Megan Shepherd is with the Progressive Liberal Party. Jasmine Brown is tracking the Free National Movement, and Sasha Lightbourne is with the Coalition of Independents. And rounding out the coverage will be our Danielle Miller, who has been in several of the constituency areas today. As we wrap up tonight, we want to start with you, Megan. Tonight appears to have been a decisive victory for Darren Pickstock and the PLP.
The work continues as of tomorrow. They plan to be back in the streets. He thanked his family and the Prime Minister. Of course, he thanked all of the voters for their confidence and their trust in him. He says he knows that he is returning, and so he will be consistent. He will be delivering on promises that he made before and act for their support. And of course, he thanked them for bringing that
Having some audio issues with you. Jasmine Brown, from your vantage point, what has been the sentiment? We're going to check in with Jasmine Brown. Jasmine, from your vantage point, what has the sentiment been like in the FNM camp tonight?
It's been very quiet. In fact, by 7 o'clock, we noticed things changed. There was a lot of noise, and it got really quiet outside the Anatol Rogers polling station. And as it was very quiet, we noticed the numbers also started to dwindle. That's when we decided to make our way to his constituency headquarters, where we found a group of people gathered, and the mood is also somber. Now, I will say that I spoke to Mr. Brown, and he was saying that he would possibly speak here, or the party leader would speak. I do hear some sirens coming, so he may be arriving just in a few minutes. Back to you, Jerome.
Jasmine, and our Sasha Lightbourne, you spoke with the COI's candidate earlier in our broadcast, and he was not ready to concede at that time. What's the sentiment now?
Yes, Jerome, we're still here live at the Anatol Rogers High School, and the COI have all left. When we tried to find out whether they would be going to their headquarters, which is just off West Bay Street, they told us no, they will be going home. We expect either a press release or some sort of press conference tomorrow. But just moments ago, the color that I wanted the public to see, that convoy of about 10 or so vehicles, which included 2 police buses and 4 police outriders, they have finally left Anatole Rogers High School carrying those ballot boxes. I am going to move out of the shot as some senior police officers and junior officers, if my cameraman can zoom in on them. They are having maybe a debriefing, I want to call it, but that convoy of about 10 vehicles has already left the Anatole Rogers High School and is making their way with those ballot boxes from 10 polling stations here in the Golden Isles constituency to a secure location. We understand that location may be at police headquarters or it may be right there at the Parliamentary Registration Department. Back to you in studio, Jerome.
The indication of those boxes leaving lets us know that they have taken them into custody for the recount, which will take place tomorrow, and that is indicative of all elections. And finally now, our Danielle Miller, who is out at Adelaide and who has been there all day and now wrapping up her coverage from the Parliamentary Registration Department. Denny, what did you observe from your vantage point?
What I observed is a cultural shift in the political landscape. Young people are fading away their political alliances and really stepping in and asking the question, how do you plan to implement change? How do you plan to be progressive? And how do you plan to give us a free Bahamas where there's opportunities for all? That is the question all of these political parties will have to answer in the general election come 2026 in order to secure a victory. And this was just a sample of what was to come today. That was the words of a lot of persons on the ground.
And thank you
Back
for
to you,
that
Jerome.
insight. Our A-team in the field today. Before we go, our Megan Shepherd with the PLP. We're going to check back in. Megan, we lost you earlier. Are you up now? We think we may be able to hear you a little better.
Yes, we're back. I'm hoping. Absolutely hoping so. So like I was telling you, Jerome, Mr. Pickstock giving his speech tonight saying that this is not just a victory for him, but a collective victory for the entire community of Golden Isles. He says tonight's victory is not the end, but it is the beginning. He says he started his work. He's heard the concerns of residents, and he knows that trust has to be earned. So his plan is, of course, he's thanking his family, thanking the Prime Minister for his confidence in him, and for the residents that cast their vote for him today. And of course, the Prime Minister also giving his support behind the new winner, Mr. Pickstock. He says the next step now is to be prepared for what's coming up. He told the PLPs to not just rest on their laurels and stay ready for 2026. Candino and Jerome, the energy is picking up. People are excited and they are ready to celebrate. Live here from the Golden Isles constituency office. And Megan Shepherd, back to you in office.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. We give you a little bit of grace tonight. All right, I was calling you the wrong name all night. It's okay. Thank you very much, our Megan Shepherd with the PLP. Thank you so much. Also, thanks to our Jasmine Brown, who was with the FNM, Sasha Lightbourne at the COI, and also our Danielle Miller at the Parliamentary Registration Department. Thank you all for your coverage and commentary tonight. You certainly added a lot of depth and color for us, giving us an insight into what was happening out there as we were in here. To my guests, your final thoughts tonight. It hasn't been as long as a general election, I just want to say, and this is kind of about the time I averaged we'd be on tonight.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say, well, the PLP won tonight. Congratulations to the Progressive Liberal Party and their candidate. I think the people of Golden Isles expect to see representation from them. And the Free National Movement will do its job. We will hold Darren Pickstock, the PLP, their feet to the fire. We have a few short months before a general election, and the FNM will do what we need to do to capture the hearts and minds of the Bahamian people.
All right. Diasante, you feel free to throw in when election is going to be as well.
So, firstly, congratulations officially to Darren Pickstock. From myself, it's just been a pleasure working with you over the past few weeks. I think the short time, it's been a good time. It's been a worthwhile time. And tonight's victory is a signal of us building on progress, a signal that Golden Isles shows progress and is willing to give you an opportunity. And I believe you will take full advantage and deliver on those same things that you've committed to. Get started on that 10 10-point plan and show them that you are truly a man for the people. And secondly, to my party, I think congratulations is in order. I think seeing us come together, working together on the ground in our various spaces, in the various groupings and the different teams. But what is true is that we are committed to progress, that we are committed on building upon progress, that we are showing that the base is ready, if nothing else. And so I want us to build on that. Let's make sure that we are getting our people registered, making sure that they're transferring, make sure that they're getting ready, so that whenever our PM chooses that the time is then, we are ready and we are turning out to ensure that we are building on progress. So it's been a pleasure, Jerome.
And thank you very much for sitting in. I know this was tough for you.
Hard.
I thank you, Gear. I thank you, those of us here at RTV, thank you, and our news, thank you, and the nation thanks you. So this was important. All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. We got some food back there for you too. All right. Well, folks, the decision has been made, and the people have spoken, naming Darren Pickstock as the unofficial winner of the Golden Isles constituency by-election. And it turns out there was only a 51% voter turnout, as 4,040 out of the 7,960 registered voters turned up at the polls. It's been weeks in the making, culminating in what appears to be a decisive victory for the PLP. I want to thank our guests tonight, the Asante Benabi Small of the PLP, Xavier Knowles from the FNM, and of course, our Megan Shepherd, Jasmine Brown, Sasha Lightbourne, Danielle Miller, and our Talia Hall. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm your host, Jerome Sawyer. Until next time.